at a loading dock, Tyler.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
a
that
loading
was
dock.
it when they moved the vans up.
Fuck a loading
Yeah,
dock.
they moved the vans up to like make a wall for sound to not to back. It was victim of suffering,
Ooh.
dark hand,
Ooh.
your spirit dies, and iron sights.
That's hard.
Iron sights, because they had just dropped their stuff. Iron sights had.
Yeah,
I remember. Speaking of the Bluegrass thing, I drove straight from a Bluegrass show there, turned around and drove 6 hours to Dayton, Ohio, to play the next day. I drove through the night.
Yeah,
go to the show.
You were on tour with that lady, weren't you?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Filling in for her.
Talking about loading docks. I fucking hate loading docks. I have an enemy loading dock in Charlotte, North Carolina, where whenever I was living with my aunt and them, we had to take stuff to a storage unit, and there was like a loading dock there, and I was like standing outside waiting for the moving van to show up so I could tell them where to put everything. And I was like, my foot was hurting. So I went to kick back onto this railing, and there was a chain attached to it. The chain snapped, and I fell about 10 feet onto my back. My uncle walked outside, and he was like, comes up, slaps me on the back, and goes, "All right, let's get inside, buddy." And I was like, ugh.
That's an uncle right there.
I was like,
that's an
Zach
uncle.
and Scott need to meet.
Zach and Scott would be too. No,
yes.
No, Scott likes to do very, very illegal things. Zach might just be crazy enough to do them with him, and there would be some shit. Also, you two are polar opposites. He's very militant, vegan, straight edge dude who's in his 40s, and you're Zach.
Drinking a Coors Light.
I feel. All right, you got me there. I mean, I like some vegan food, vegan tacos, but I'm open to trying anything. I'm not
except straight edge.
No, I tried that one time when I was 13, and then I became a man. I was like, wow, there's this stuff called beer?
We gotta talk about why you broke edge.
I didn't actually break edge because of that, but it is a good joke. It was right around the time.
That's so fucking funny.
So when I was playing in full swing, I like we was talking earlier, I'm really into Madball and stuff, but I'm really always just been drawn to New York hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Just love the sound of it. And there was a band that we was lucky enough to play with called Vice. We played with them and knocked loose for I think 2 or 3 dates.
Mm-hmm.
And the vocalist from Vice, he was very well known. He's in the New York hardcore documentary. He's now in Combust.
Okay.
But really looked up to the dude. Yeah. And I was like, here I am. I'm 14, 15, kid from in the holler where we got 2 kinds of ice cream, chocolate and melted. So it's me getting out in the world and seeing this place. And I was stoked. I was laying in bed the night before Christmas, sitting there thinking of everything I'm going to ask him. And Andrew can vouch for this. I walked up to him. I was like, yo, man, what's up? Trying to hide my accent. I was like, I'm Zach. What's up? And I was like, how long you been edge? And he goes, my whole life. And just walked away. So I was like, fuck this shit. I don't want no part of that.
It's funny. One of the funniest stories Zach has ever told me is just that, because it's just since day one.
Yeah, that was that
funny.
same tour. I broke my right arm over a guy's head during their pit, and I had just got my driver's license, so I would have been 15 because we had 15 and 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we used my truck and rented a U-Haul to drive to Roanoke to play, and I kept telling everybody, I was like, guys, something's wrong with my arm, and they was all like, no, you're good. And I was like, no, something's really wrong. Well, we get back, and they're like, Zach, you're the one that lives closest to the U-Haul place. Take it and drop it off. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I can. Something's wrong with my arm. They said, whatever. So I get home. You got to think, I'm in 10th grade. Going over the mountain, it starts snowing. I get to the U-Haul place, and you have to press it down with both thumbs to get it off.
Yeah.
I could not get my right side to work, and it was killing me. It was snowing on me. I was sitting out there. I was taking hammers, hitting everything. Finally got it off. Get home about 3:30 in the morning. My dad wakes me up from school, and I'm like, man, something's not right with my arm. And it was black, and come to find out I'd shattered my wrist. And I didn't even tell anybody. I showed up to band practice, and I was like, oh yeah? So
you're like,
that is not the first or only time that Andrew has ever been like, yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I also have been told that Zach almost got Andrew killed because of a picture that you took of Andrew with a beer in his hand that said, "Guess he had to go to bed finally," or some shit. And Andrew said, "I woke up to death threats."
Yeah. That was like the first time Andrew had got a straight edge tattoo. I think like literally he posted it like 2 weeks before. It was the like shaking hands with the ex,
Yep.
and we was at a get together up in Big Stone, some friends of ours, and he was like, I think moving a beer or something. And I was a little bit in my cups that night, feeling pretty loose, and I was like, so I took it, posted it, and I was like, dude, I can't believe what I'm seeing. And then next thing I know, Andrew like comes in mad the next morning. He's like, they was telling me I better get that tattoo removed. They're gonna remove it for me, and I was like, my bad, bub. But that ain't the only time. I do it too many chances I get. But I think everybody's catching on now. That's a joke.
Could you imagine? You guys are like at a show together. Some guy's like, "Come here, Andrew. Let me see that leg.
Step in the bathroom.
Let me see that leg." He's
No,
like,
there's only one tattoo that we should like forcibly remove from.
Is it the expire
Andrew.
one?
Yeah.
Nah, leave it there.
You know, I mean, he can't help that.
You
can't
know,
help that the guy was shitty.
You know,
it sucks.
We can talk about Andrew liking expire, but Ashton, we can talk about what was on your 5x5 this week if you would like. Little X Servitude X on there. I think I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Genocide.
To be fair, I listened to them and then told you that I was listening to them.
Yeah, you did do that. I also I have a story with that band too. That's hilarious now knowing about that. I had to show them to Annie because she was like, "What is this band?" And I was like, "Oh, they're fucking awesome. Just you cannot. They're so good."
I'm gonna assume that Annie is your missus.
Yeah, she's my girlfriend. Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I love that name. You never hear that name anymore.
Yeah, she.
Ever. I love that name.
That's
awesome.
That's a first. She fucking everybody mispronounce it. They call her Annalise. Yeah. Her full name's Annalise, and it's like that's not it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love those names like that though.
Hell yeah.
And I'll be honest. How do I word this? That sound. You know, we was talking about expire and stuff like that. Like, man, I still jam the music. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll still fuck with expire.
I still like. I'll be the first to admit I still jam canceled bands. I don't support them or anything like that. But like,
there's certain
we never knew the members were gonna do shitty stuff, and like
there's certain ones that I will.
There is a point where I have to cut it off. Like, I don't listen to Five Finger Death Punch. I don't.
Well, yeah, that's just bad. That's just bad.
I mean, I was about to say. I mean, that's good. You probably shouldn't do that in the first place.
Way of the fist.
Mm-mm. You like conservative military image, don't you?
Hey, yo, you fuck with that band though, Ashton?
Yo, you fuck with that band?
Zach, Ashton does not like this band.
I don't think you understand that I was going to drive to your house, Tyler, and just actually punch you in the face and walk out.
That's not the first time. There was the one time that we sent you into a full panicking class. Me, Andrew, and Animus sent this man into a full fucking panic attack because Ashton was like, "Are we starting the podcast?" And I was like, "No, I'm at work." And everyone just in the group chat was, "No, Ashton, he's at work." No, it was like an hour, and Ashton's like, "I'm having a panic attack. Please stop." We're like, "No."
Listen,
like, poor little fella.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm a very outgoing guy. I try to be. I love conversations with people. Love meeting new people that come from different backgrounds. But I have the world's worst anxiety out of anybody I've ever met. Like, I'm not joking. I can't like little things set me off. I can make a panic attack out of me going to the bathroom. Like, yep. I'll have the world's worst. But that's like earlier today. Someone messaged me. They didn't say anything. I hadn't talked to them in a while. Just said my name. Instantly, boom.
I've been like,
my gut, yeah. I was like, what? And
that happens to me.
I just haven't heard from him. He's gonna say hey, and I was like,
brother, just say hi. Just
it aggravated me to the point where I was like, do not do that. Like, please don't. Please. I can't handle it.
I hate when people do that shit, Ashton. Ashton, what I hate is when Ashton tries to invite themselves to my house when I'm like just wanting to chill, and Ashton's like, I'm coming over, and I'm like,
recently started that.
No, it's not. It's not the first time you've done that shit. No.
But now it's like an ongoing bit.
Yeah, just don't do it. Don't show up to my house. Don't just show up to my. I will actually fight you. I'm gonna come out with the machete and be like, you either get back in the Honda Fit or I'm gonna put you into bits.
Back in the Honda Fit. That's sushi. That's a good vehicle.
So
I love Honda Fits.
Zach
Except
also
Ashton
has-
can't drive.
Okay.
I could see that as well.
It's
I mean,
the-
no offense.
No,
You just give me the vibes of like
full
someone that
of-
would freak out like driving. Like
Zach,
You know what
listen
I'm
here,
saying?
listen, everybody. There are two other people other than Ashton that I will willingly hang out with here most days. It's my friend Cortland and Annie. We all hung out one day. As soon as we all left Ashton's car to go back home, collectively I got 2 text messages, one from Annie, one from Cortland, and also myself feeling this that said, "That was the scariest driving I've ever seen."
All right, wait a minute. I'm gonna be very hesitant saying this. Is Andrew watching this? Is there any way you can tell? I don't know.
Let's see. Is Andrew in here?
I have no clue.
I
how
don't.
this thing
No,
works.
I don't think Drew's in here.
Okay, he's gonna hear this, and I'm gonna go ahead and
I
say
know
it. And,
exactly what he's gonna
well,
say.
I mean, I have went to shows with Andrew since I was 15, 16 years old. I don't know if it's where I found I have anxiety and my nerves are a little bit thinner, but I love him. That driving scares me a little bit sometimes because he'll be like, listen to this song, and then it's like,
Instead of how I
it's
do,
a 5-speed.
where I grab my phone and I'm like holding it and I'm like going back and forth. This man has it set up with his pop socket like in a
On the-
holder, and he's leaning up. It's a 5-speed, so he's leaning up, typing, and not looking at the road.
Yeah.
That's insane. Then
And
I mean,
it's like-
I gotta
and-
say, everybody's like, but did you die? And I'm not yet. So.
no, with Ashton, I actually think I'm going to die. Like the
That's
amount of
the
times that
plan,
I have been
eventually.
riding with Ashton, and like I'll be looking at my phone because I'm in the passenger seat, and I'll look up and we're just we're veering, and I'm like, Ashton, please, Ashton, please, Ashton, please.
Sometimes I like just forget.
Andrew's the hit the rumble strips, grab the wheel, jerk it kind of guy, which makes me even scared.
Yeah.
I feel like the Jeep's gonna be like,
Yeah,
and
that's gonna get that little speed
kinda
wobble.
like,
Don't break
you ever
traction.
You ever watched Step Brothers? You know, when
Yep.
they're singing in the vehicle and then
Phenomenal.
just, like,
That's
screams and stops, and they're like,
yep.
that's what gets me
It's
with
just-
Andrew. Except
So-
his hardcore lyrics are right.
And it's so weird to me because, like, I'm a car guy. I grew up building cars with my grandfather, and my dad still love working
Oh
on
hell
cars.
yeah!
And I'll be like, Ashton and Animus know jack shit about cars, but Andrew's like, I know a little bit. So I'm like, let's have a conversation. Now hearing that, I'm like, that scares the fuck out of me. Like, how do you know stuff about cars, but you don't know how to drive?
No, he's a good driver. He just gets distracted. Did he ever
That-
tell you about? He owned a Miata.
Oh,
Did you know that?
no, but that's
No.
awesome.
So that was what he drove when I first met him.
That's so
Remember
cool.
what-
We're at the radio station that I now work at, which is where our band practiced. I just got my driver's license. Had no clue how to drive a stick. He gets there, and everybody's driving his car. Jesse and him's like, "Yeah, let's take it." And I was like, "Yeah, let me take it for a spin." He's like, "You know how to drive a 5-speed?" And I was like, "Hell yeah." I get in the car, it's like all across the parking lot.
Just
And I was like,
grinding
"Yo,
it.
thank you for letting me take it for a whip," and threw his keys, and he was just like,
He's like, oh. That's so
"Yeah, yeah, yeah."
I
Yeah.
can imagine. So, Zach.
Yeah.
You have some of my favorite sayings in the world. This is true.
Can I read one off real
So-
quick, actually? Because there's one that I've recently read that
My favorite is when you compliment Zach and he goes, "You're only saying it because it's true."
that's fucking hilarious. There's a thing that he said recently that I actually had to read off 2 nights ago during stream because I could not stop laughing at it because it reminded me of Animus,
Oh.
which was at 11:43 p.m. was, y'all ever had them rotisserie chickens from Walmart or Food City? Forgot how much I love those things. 30 minutes went by. There was another text. The juice is at the bottom of that thing stouter than a kerosene milkshake. And I was like, what does that mean? Like,
I'll give you. I'll tell you something. That means it's damn good, son.
Tyler, do you know where Lee County is?
I know where, I've never been. I know where it is though.
I'm 15 minutes from Sneedville, Tennessee, and 20 minutes from Harlan, Kentucky.
Okay. The Tennessee area, I don't know what the fuck that is.
That's not a place.
Sneedville?
Sneevil?
Sneedsville? You know,
That's
it's
a Pokemon.
where that Morgan Wallen feller's from.
I don't listen to country music.
Right, it's right near Rogersville.
Oh, okay. I know where that is, but you say, I thought you were naming off some like Gen 3 Pokemon. I was like, sick.
No, do you know where Tazewell, Tennessee is?
Fuck no.
I do.
I don't. I'm from this area. This is where I grew up and everything. I don't know shit about Tennessee.
I've
really.
traveled a lot coming up, so maybe like to me, it's
I've
just
been
like
I've lived here, Florida, Charlotte, Idaho. Like I've traveled a lot, just not Tennessee.
Here, let's see, I've lived here 10 days in the Duffield jail.
That's insane. That's so hard though.
Zach is the one hardcore guy. No, never mind. I was gonna be like the only hardcore guy to spend one night in jail, but that's just not true.
No,
No, it was more
Just
than one.
one.
I wish it was
How
one.
many?
it's 10.
Total of 20 days.
Holy
Total
shit.
20 days. I've done it on weekends though, but I listened to nothing but rap every weekend that I was going there. I swear I got a little pep in my step when I got out. Things have changed. I'm a hardened man.
Are ya?
I'm what you call institutionalized.
Did you just want a Pepsi?
No, oh hell yeah, so bad. Like Dr. Pepper, I was craving one so bad. It
Dude,
was-
Dr. Pepper goes so hard.
All right.
Oh, it does.
Dr.
Like
Pepper,
especially on a fresh glass of ice. But
Mhm.
go ahead. Ed. Yes.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke with peanuts in it.
Oh, I do know that thing. That's a southern thing.
Okay.
But it has to come out of a glass bottle. You can get
Yep.
it at the local gas station for 99 cents. They have a bottle opener.
You
You
pop your
put
peanuts
salted
in it.
peanuts in it. Put your thumb in it.
Yep.
Drink it. Delicious.
I'm a Coke fan myself. I worked for Coke, but also Pepsi can get thrown around the fucking trash.
My boss worked for Pepsi Cola, and I think what ruined me, well, my former boss worked for Pepsi Cola, and they would stock the machines outside, but it was only plastic bottles, and I hate drinks out of a plastic bottle. I think coming out of a can is a lot better for some reason. I don't know.
A ice cold Diet Coke out of a plastic bottle is insane. That's a
Yeah,
perfect.
which I
drink.
never got a chance to drink much Coca-Cola products there. It was always like, I don't know, it was just always like half, probably out of date Dr. Peppers.
I gotta read a thing in chat real quick that just popped up for me. Zach, perfect. Because I don't drink. I don't like beer. And even when I did drink, I didn't drink beer. Ashton doesn't drink. Apparently, this is good from what I'm getting told in chat here. Is half Yingling, half Coke. They said it's like a malty float.
I love a Yingling, so I'm completely open to trying that. Like I've never have, but I've
Please
tried
let us
straight Yinglings. I've tried quite a few beers. I'm just my everyday sipper is like a Coors Light. I like Coors Banquets, but my buddy that we was talking about earlier, Jesse, his dad that recently passed, all he would drink, he never drank much, but when he did, it was Yingling out of the bottle. And I remember like when I first turned 21, went there for a cookout, and he was like, "Hey, you want to try one of these?" Damn, did I feel like a man that had been to World War II and back, like sitting in the backyard, smelling the burgers cooking, sucking down just a nice cold Yingling out of the bottle, watching the sunset in Pennington Gap, Virginia.
All this
I
motherfucker.
was
All Zach heard that day, as soon as that thing cracked, was "Good Morning Vietnam," and he was like,
Oh,
"God damn
the
right."
copters went by. I'm talking. CCR started playing in the background.
You were like, "I'm having a good fucking time today."
It was. I got to play horseshoes with them that day. Like
That's so badass.
Oh, his dad and my dad was horseshoe partners, and they took it way too serious. They played it when we was growing up. I'd be like 10, and they'd be like, "You and Jess want to play?" And I was 10, weighing like 60 pounds because I'm still a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
I would throw it with all my might, couldn't get it to the other side of the horse pit, like trying, and they'd be like, "Well, if you ain't gonna fucking take it serious, you just need to sit down." And I was like,
I've been
"Man,
trying."
I'm trying. Yeah, it was different generation.
My dad and my grandfather would just build cars all day. And then whenever
this guy actually built cars.
Oh, dang.
I'm actually going next week with his son to pick up the truck that is down at his other house, a 1970 F100. But he had
so
like
hard.
old Ford Ramblers,
That's hard.
Thunderbirds.
What did we have? We're a Ford family, so a lot of Mustangs.
I'm a Ford guy.
Yeah,
myself.
Same, yeah. It was a lot of Mustangs. We had one Chevy. We had a little S10 square body that we put a small block V8 in.
My first truck was 10.
Yeah, I love those. Not as much now because
We
of
called
hurting
it we
somebody.
called it the sextin, the
That's-
dime piece.
That's hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
that fits you perfectly because, as Andrew describes, Zach is a country guy. So funny because I'll just get hit with the most random shit. He'll be like,
Yeah.
we'll be talking about just like anything. Like, this one time Zach did this, and this might be offensive, and I'm like, fucking what?
Yeah.
Zach may have done like a war crime.
But let me tell you about it.
If Andrew walked up to me and said, "Zach just killed a man," I just go, "Oh."
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Probably justified.
Like I said, some of those stories, I think it's a little bit fabricated.
There's
It
a
starts out.
There's a certain
I want
story
you-
that I can't tell on here that Andrew told me that I had to take out of a stream.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want you to tell me the story of you having to put on the mask to run in.
Oh, yeah, no, that was true.
This was full swing, right?
Yeah, it was full swing. So I played bass and done some vocal spots. Well, the show was originally supposed to be at the Hideaway, an all ages show that time. So, we went up there, was waiting to load in. Nobody was opening up. We was like, what the heck's going on here, So called around. It was like an hour after doors supposed to open. We was like, this is weird. It never happened before. Somebody called, was like, Tarvo had no idea about the show. The promoter lied to us or something, I think is what happened. So these guys literally was just like, we're going to...
Continue.
But they was like, these guys literally just walked through downtown Johnson City from spot to spot asking for a place to play. So they found this place. And the lady that owned it, I could not remember her name. Super cool. If I was like 40 years older, that'd been my ex-wife by now. Because she let me come in before, like there was blow-up NASCARs hanging from the ceiling and stuff. And she was like, honey, I just can't let you in though. It's 18 and up. And I was like, I don't know, 16. So the band played, and I was like, well, I'm just going to chill here on the... it would have been a lot safer for me in there with my buddies than just me standing on the streets of Johnson City.
Damn right.
And I was just... No, I mean, like, I had a drunk homeless dude try to fight me, and I was like, dude, I'm 16, I don't know. But we're sitting there, and I had my backpack on, the band's playing, I'm just watching them through the window, and my part comes up to do the vocals, and I was like, fuck it. So I had a ski mask in my backpack, so I pulled it down, and the security guy, I just ran past him, dove over the couch, and grabbed the mic and done it, and dipped. So it was a good time.
That's hard. Also, Animus, you're getting like a lot of like this like windy noise in your mic. I think it's your
Fine, I'll turn off my. It's my fan, yeah.
Dude, I was
Look at
like, there's a windstorm.
Does Animus
We
look
got a south
clean
breeze
to
coming from the
anyone else?
southwest.
Wait, did they numb you or something, Animus?
No,
You just
I'm
look,
just numb from the show.
Oh, that's
no,
what it
you
is.
just look
Is-
fake.
Is that a thing yet?
Yeah, it is.
Let's go!
Animus looks
We
The
right.
first person the first person that ever like was like named it by brand.
Dude,
Right.
I know that brand. I don't know the name. I just know it because every single person in Idaho has that hat.
Oh, they got a lot of them down here. The Hooties. I mean, there's a lot of stickers of them down here on trucks, like Dodges and stuff.
Mhm.
Yee pillars, blow the black smoke.
If you drive a Dodge truck, I want to slash your tires.
I was
No,
leaving
we drive a
work
Kia
today.
Soul.
That's the funniest shit. I'm sorry. Animus driving a Kia Soul is the funniest shit in the world to me.
It's shit green color too.
Like,
I drive a Kia Placenta.
That's hard.
Placenta.
To the placenta. Sick.
No, I own 3 Ford Rangers.
Zach is the
Well,
first
yeah.
white man to find where the clitoris is.
Wait a minute. Is there a stack in the back of one of them?
Nah, I've got a flatbed in the back of one of them. I've got a
That's
94 with a
insane.
flatbed that I built because the bed got damaged. My everyday driver's a 2000, and then I've got a 98 as well, but I just use it to haul feed and hay around here and such.
Yeah, so that's another thing is
And ass.
hard. Love the
I'm
fucking
kidding.
like getting
I'm
the
just
back
kidding.
of my Ford fucking Ranger, and they're like,
it's a
okay.
Ford, yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
But
Zach is also the only hardcore dude who fucks.
you're goddamn
I really
right.
don't. I really don't. I wish I did. That'd be
I-
awesome.
Let us live our fantasy.
That's all
So you do.
That's all we've heard about you. Apparently, from Andrew is that's all you do.
Again,
Yeah.
Zach will say those stories are very much
There's very much fabrication to these stories. I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Let's talk about some of them. Let's talk about some of these stories that I think all three of us collectively have been told.
I want to. So we were with Andrew Russell. We were driving to.
Like on Dr. Phil, I'm getting confronted. I'm getting nervous.
And we were told the story of Nick D.
Ooh. Yeah.
So do you guys know? Well, look, for context, Tyler and Animus, do you know who Nick D is?
I do not.
No clue.
So it's
Do you know
really
who-
funny you mentioned that. Actually, earlier I was just going through watching live sets.
Okay.
Most random thing ever. I was watching Crown of Thorns play in New York at SRC in 2013. You know who just randomly shows up in the video moshing?
Nick D.
Nick D.
Nick D is the guy who knocked Tyler from Inclination out 3 times with one punch.
That is true. That's
That's
very
hard.
true. You can find that. Garrett from Knocked Loose talks about it. It was at Spinelli's Pizza. Or it may have been at Spinelli's. May have been somewhere else. I don't know. Nick D was just one of the OGs.
It's the one he told on Hardlore, right? Where he like hit him.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
fell once, got up, fell again, and then
Yeah.
went outside and fell again.
Yep.
So Nick D
That's
is
Nick
from
D.
Knoxville.
Mhm.
So when Brian goes, shout out Nick D from Knoxville. This is who we're talking about.
Okay.
Zach,
I mean, it
tell us about your
basically
fateful encounter with Nick D.
it was one of, fingers crossed, like third final shows that they decided to play over like a 3-year span because they was like, this is it, boys, we're calling in the dogs and pissing on the fire. And then like 6 months later they'd be like, this is it, you know. So I went down for it, and there was some really hard moshers there, and I dove off of something and everything was fine. And as soon as I landed, I just caught a boot to the side of my head, and I stood up, and it kind of dazed me. I was like, damn. And Andrew was like, you good? And I was like, yeah. And then we got outside on the side of the street light, and there was just a perfect Timberland imprint on my forehead. So
That's a pretty good ad.
Yeah.
Damn right, it
yeah.
leaves a print.
So we get in the vehicle and we get headed back, and my stomach was all sorts of tore up. Like I was nauseous, I had a headache, and then it looked like I was in a Star Wars spaceship, these little white flakes, and I was like, dude, why is it snowing? Andrew was like, it's fucking July. And I was like, bro, I don't feel good. And I rolled over and laid down, and I woke up, and I swear I've not been right since. So I don't know. He caught me with a good boot to the face.
So you had a concussion, and this man
Concussion.
just let you
I don't
sleep.
know. I don't know.
Yes.
It was
He
during wrestling
straight-
season, so I didn't say anything. I
He
went on to school.
straight had a concussion, fell asleep, and Andrew did nothing.
Andrew was like, if he dies, he dies. Oh well.
Yeah. It was some
Also,
good
How long
time.
have you known Andrew? How'd you meet Andrew? Because is Andrew from
Yeah, because
Lee
this will lead up
County?
to my next thing that I need to tell you, because I need to know your viewpoint on this after you tell us how long you've known Andrew and how you met this fella.
No, Andrew isn't from Lee County. So Andrew,
He's from around here.
he's from where he lives
He's
now.
from
But when
Bloodville.
also, you guys will have to excuse me. I apologize. I have the world's worst sinus infection.
Okay.
I'm trying to get fixed right now, so I apologize.
Nah, you're fine.
But I played. I hate talking about this, but might as well get out of the way. I played in a metalcore band when I was like 10 or 11.
I didn't know this.
If you're
I
10 or
don't know this
11, it's
story.
forgivable.
I don't know the story. I need to know
I
this.
played in a band called Letters and Lies and played keys. And by keys, I mean I just went like.
I didn't know that was.
But-
Oh
You're just
my
Caleb
God.
Chomo. That's what it was.
He was one of my big heroes during that time. Yeah, but we played at this place called the Woodman, and apparently Andrew knew me then because Stand Your Ground played, who was like one of the few local hardcore bands, and I was moshing, and like I said, I was only 10 or 11, so I didn't know Andrew, and I broke one of his friend's ribs by accident and didn't know until years later. I formally met Andrew I don't remember what year it was. It was right when Balancing Survival and Happiness had come out with Kubla Khan. They played at the Hideaway in Johnson City to 7 people, including me. And Andrew and us was talking. I had just gotten Jesse, the guy that I was telling you about earlier, kind of into hardcore. He was transitioning, trying to. He's still not super like full blown into that aspect, but he was into bands like Stray from the Path and stuff like that, which is great.
Jesse, forgot Jesse was the drummer in Breach.
In Full Swing, yeah. So we was standing there, and I had never thought about playing in a hardcore band. I just loved it. Loved going to shows any chance I get. And Jesse was like, I want to play some music like that. And we got talking, and Andrew and me got talking. That show, we hit it off, and he's been like a brother ever since. We've traveled to so many hardcore shows. I've become really close with his family, and they're just some of the, like, him and his family is some of the nicest people you genuinely meet. I joke around and talk a lot of shit on Andrew's jokes, but, like, I would die for that guy. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
Andrew is like, to me, Bradshaw, because that's been my boy since fucking 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Been friends ever since, and it's like
he saved me and Jesse.
Know each other.
He saved me and JP one night. We decided to go on a little bit of a gambling spree over at the casino. Went over and lost a little bit of money.
Was this recently?
This was a year or 2 ago.
Okay.
And was coming back from the Bristol casino. We was doing pretty good on roulette. I went down on blackjack. He didn't do good, so we was like, we lost our money. It's whatever. Let's lick our wounds and go home. We get right in between Bristol and Kingsport. There's a limb in the road. Jesse hits it. We have a flat, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what we're going to do. I called Andrew. It was like 2 a.m. Rolled right up with a jack to help us out. Like, that's just the kind of guy he is.
I could just imagine that Andrew's like waking up, was like, God damn, fucking piece of shit.
God, Andrew's at least Andrew's nice enough to come help their boy with fucking car troubles, because no one does that for me. I do that for everyone else, but no one does it for me, and I'm like, fuck.
And we took Andrew and showed him around some places in Lee County that had him absolutely scared shitless. It was awesome.
I need to do that with Ashton around here.
No.
Dude.
Andrew was there the night that I absolutely murdered myself by accident in the 4-lane when we took him to an abandoned house.
I did that with. I've done that here recently. I've been to some. There's some creepy. Do you know about Bluff City at all in like the area outside of?
A little bit. Yeah,
that's where I live. There's like I've lived in Bluff City probably 17 years of my life. And so I never really got to explore a lot of Bluff City because my grandparents are more of just like stay home because there's a bunch of meth heads and we don't want to deal with them.
Hey, that's true.
And like last year,
it's crazy times right now. That shit's hit our area.
Oh, it's so bad here. It's so fucking bad.
But it's sad, honestly.
It is. It fucking sucks. But like last year, I have a friend around here who Ashton also knows. His name is Cortland, and me and him just like to go just do shit. So like last year, we had like a thing for like a month and a half where like we would go. I'd go get him like 11 o'clock, and we would just drive for like 4 hours wherever. Yeah. We didn't know where. Just see where we ended up. And I was like, I've never explored a lot of Bluff City, and so I live up like right near an area called the Hickory Tree Store. And there's a road behind it, and I was like, let's just head out here. Let's see what the fuck's out this way. And like we got all the way at the end of the road, and it takes up like up this fucking hill where there's like barely anybody. Like a couple like old houses where like some like weird ass people live. And like 2 a.m, we just see a sign that says National Indian Historical Reserve, and I was like, huh. I was like, I don't think we need to.
I'm a diehard history nerd. I'd be like, let's check that shit out.
I am too, but like, I'd never heard about it, and he was like, I think we need to turn around. I was
I'm
like,
a huge history nerd, so like literally love it. I anytime I'm driving through Tennessee, like going to meet buddies or something, 'cause I do a lot of camping trips. Mm-hmm. If I get on a side road and I have time to kill and I see like a graveyard from like the 1800s, I pull over and I'm like, I'm gonna take a walk.
There's a thing I've been trying to find here for a minute. If Ashton or somebody would ever go with me to find it, it's in Bristol. It's called the Yutta Shrine. It is not listed on any maps anywhere in Bristol, but it's in Bristol. It's a protected religious grounds that is still in use today for like paganism, Satanism, and shit like that. No one can fuck with it because it is protected by government. So if you were like trying to do anything, it's a felony. But yeah, it's in Bristol. I just don't know where.
Why does ANIMUS look like that?
I'm missing a lot of content. I was gone for a long bit because I had to get my eye
I-
checked.
By the way, ANIMUS, I don't want to be rude. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Zach. It's a pleasure to meet you and stuff like that. I heard quite a bit about you. Kept up.
You're a little
I'm a fan
fella.
of your work.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Fan of your work.
yeah. We're you're just one of the little fellas with us.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. I had to be gone because I had an eye appointment because I got rocked in the eye during the show like a few days ago from the vocalist of Full Choke. They were previously called Dirt Nap, but now they changed their name to Full Choke. And yeah, that guy was just like grabbed me by the shirt collar and just bam, bam, bam.
As you should.
And it was really funny because I showed up to the
Like
show
Justin
in like
Burley would do, but like not like try to hurt you. He would just like smack you in the head once and walk away.
Just
Not
bonk
trying to
Because-
brag, but I stepped on a girl's toes one time.
Did you try to
Whoa.
Didn't you
at
try
a
to kill
show or just
Zach
Recreationally.
pissed off in my presence 2 women.
I've heard about
At
this.
shows.
I've heard about this.
So the first time was at a cyber grind show, and Zach was just there.
I wasn't even moshing hard. Like I was just chilling. That's not my thing. But this one band from like out of town that has like a
From New
hardcore
Zealand.
background. They have like a hardcore background. The one time I moshed, this lady lost it, so I was like, all right. That's it. And I lost my shit. I even took my shirt off. And I'm built like Woody from Toy Story, but I was fucking beating on people like a garage sale couch.
Was she like started yelling at him, and it's cyber grind, so you can't hear 2 feet in front of you. And she's like yelling at him, and he just goes. Sydney,
the fuck alone.
I told her, I
Sydney-
said, go back over there. I said, I
Sydney
don't
walks
hear you,
over
dude.
and starts saying something to her, and then she walks away, like walks out of the building, and just leaves.
My
the
thing is,
show.
I tried to apologize to her because I genuinely did feel bad. I walked outside and I was like, hey, I just want you to know I'm sorry. I did not mean to like do anything to disrespect you, which is a lot to come from me in a situation like that anyways. She goes, I've been to shows for 20 years. And I said, well, that's awesome. That's good. And she was like, I've been to Chicago. And I was like, well, that's good. This ain't Chicago.
This is Knoxville, Tennessee, and this is a cyber
Yeah, I was like,
grind show.
I don't. I mean, Cyberground's not my thing. It's cool. I love going to different shows and checking other stuff out. I'm very,
Yeah.
open-minded when it comes to music. So it was one of the things. And that band from New Zealand, I found they had a hardcore background, and it was a
Death
good riff.
Tripper.
And I didn't. It wasn't even like a hard mosh. I was just
Tyler,
having a
I
good
think
time bopping.
you like Death
after
Tripper.
she yelled at me though.
He popped up on my Twitter feed recently. Didn't know who he thought the name was Goofy and left.
What, Death Tripper?
Yeah, I seen his name pop up and I
It's-
said, "That's a goofy name. I'm
It's
not gonna
these
care."
2 New Zealanders that, like, it's E-Town concrete cyber grind.
Do they say the word?
No.
Fuck!
But
Hey, y'all. I hope this doesn't bother you all. I'm gonna let my puppy in because he's barking. Is that okay?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I
It's
love a
alright.
doggy.
Okay.
I
I just
have a
didn't
We
want
love
to like.
more guests.
Oh, I didn't want it to be disrespectful or anything.
No, you're
Come on,
good.
Shag Bubs.
I have a dog myself. I would if he
Come on,
was.
Bubs.
Yeah, I'm
He's
taking care of a
cats.
cat right now. Yeah, I'm taking care of a cat
He's my
right now.
buddy, and this is kind of his room, so he just like, come on, man. He
My
just
room.
kind of chills back here.
Oh, that's a cute boy. That's a cutie. I would get mine, but
Yeah.
he's asleep and he's about 95 pounds, and I don't feel like picking him
This
up.
is, I made this part like the back his bedroom, which he sleeps with me most of the time, but during the
what's
day,
his
I've got him.
name?
I originally named him Renfro, but my niece kept calling him Shaggy, so now it's Shag Dudes.
Hard.
That's enough, bub.
Zach, you have another pet.
Yeah, I got a donkey. He's pretty
What's
sick.
What's your donkey's name?
Jack Cook.
What a fucking name!
I named him that after Ralph Stanley's bass player.
That's so cool.
He taught me how to sing baritone in a hotel room when I was like 17 while smoking a bunch of cigarettes. I wasn't smoking the cigarettes. He was smoking the cigarettes.
God, he's just like me for real.
I mean, he was an old guy, and he like leaned over. The guy is a very, very well-known man in bluegrass and country music. They called him Cookie or the Killer was his nickname, the ex-mayor in Norton,
Cook.
Virginia. But we would travel, and we was bumping together, and he was like, I was needing to learn how to sing baritone. So he was like, they never called me by my real name. I don't know why. He always called me Lonesome. So he was, I came in from drinking one night at like 1 a.m. into the hotel room, and he was like, Lonesome? you gonna learn these baritone parts right now. And there was like just a stack of cigarette butts. I was like, do I have to sleep next to that? But then he's just like leading out songs the whole night. And he passed in, I think, like 2009. But as soon as I got this donkey, I was like, that's Jack fucking Cook right there.
That's hard. That's cool.
Best free piece of ass I've ever had up there in that field.
Listen, that's the coolest thing ever. But also, I think Ashton can vividly remember that. I say I stopped smoking. I'm just stopping right now. We'll see what happens in a couple fucking weeks or so. When Ashton first met me,
Quitter.
Every time Ashton would be at my house, I would be out there just ripping cigs, and I'd be like, "You want one?" They'd be like, "No, I don't," and I'm like, "Are you sure? Just let me know."
Sam was doing that to Andrew at the KHC Fest.
Sam was doing that to every Edge person he came into contact with.
Andrew was the funniest one, though. Andrew would be just standing there, and he's like, "Ew, want a beer?" And Andrew's like, "No," and he's like, "All right, yo, you feeling a beer?"
Yep.
Well, Sam also yelled at him during the middle of the set.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
We're talking about
That's a really cool
there's
video of me. I must have been pretty...
There's a moment of silence where like they're done talking, and all you can hear from Shane's video is, "Andrew, you want a beer?"
I must have been feeling pretty good and loose that day as well, because I found a video of Sanity playing, and I run and do like a head flip. I don't even know. And then next thing I know, I'm standing next to you, and it's just me hugging you. I go.
That's so sick.
So I'm a little lovey boy when I get drinking.
So it was funny.
I
feel
like because we all went on stage and we like bear hugged Sam.
That's hard.
I feel like if I get a few beers into Poopy, I feel like he'd get the guts to mosh a little bit. Oh yeah, I have a best friend named Poopy.
Zach Specials.
Yeah, I have a best friend. His name is Poopy. He goes to a bunch of hardcore shows with me, and he never moshes, no matter like even if it's just like a chill show or just like a
I got a friend named Pissy that's the same way.
Oh,
Pissy.
Pee-pee poopy.
I'm shitting you good.
Oh, what the fuck? You got my hopes up.
He's pooping.
No, but he's like one of them guys. I don't know. Needs a little bit of the social lubricant, get him moving. You know.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because he just does his, but he's always like that. Dude, I'm gonna fuck up that show. Dude, that pit's not ready. And then he's just at the end. I was like, okay, if you're not gonna do anything, at least like record some of the sets or whatever. He's like, okay. Yeah. But I feel like if I like get a few beers in him, he'd loosen up.
You should totally do
he got.
And I want you to record him.
Yeah, because he just records me. Because the few of the videos he recorded was when I was in the Teletubby suit, just fucking swinging and like spin kicking, just in the full Teletubby suit. But I need to get some vids of him.
You do. Also, talking about Septum Bone real quick, we're gonna stray for just a hot second because Zach and Andrew were recently talking about Septum Bone, and Andrew had to put the screenshots of this conversation into our group chat because it had me fucking cackling at whatever fucking time of morning it was that he sent
like
these.
3 a.m.
It was insane. So, Zach, I'm going to read the things that you said. It's going to be you, then Andrew, and then you and Andrew. Yeah, like a normal conversation, which was Zach starting this conversation with, "I'm going to cram a marble in your throat so you can't sing and do vocals for Septum Bone." And Andrew replies with, "I'm going to cram my wiener in your buns." And then you followed it with, "God, I love when you talk to me like that, Poppy. I'm your little Twinkie."
Because Zach on the way to Hatebreed learned what a Twink was.
Yeah, because
I had a feeling this was gonna take a turn.
I made a comment about, or was it me or Andrew made a comment about a Twink?
You did, and I didn't know what it was. I genuinely didn't know.
Yeah, because
you didn't know what a Twink was?
Yeah, because literally in the next text he says, Twinkie thing that I am, Ashton was telling me about.
So me and Andrew were scrambling to explain what a Twink is. It was the funniest thing in the world.
Well, then the next text, Andrew just goes, "A twink?" ? And Zach goes, "Oh yeah, twink, your furry little twink."
Oh.
And I was like, "What is this about?" Where'd that come from?
This might be one of them things that has to get taken out. I genuinely. I'm just here so I don't get fined. No, I genuinely did
This
not.
is an AA meeting.
No, here's the thing. You gotta understand, and this is on a serious note. I come from an area where, like, it is, especially the household I grew up in, like the people I grew up around, like these old Southern folks. So I was never exposed to much of that until I got around like hardcore and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is I'm very thankful for because I've become very open-minded and.
I was normal until
Twinks
I found
just didn't
hardcore.
exist where I was.
Awesome, I'm not kidding you. In my holler, they didn't. It may have been like a little cartoon character. I don't know.
I've never seen one.
But I like it. I'll say I'm thankful for hardcore because not only has it made me like, you know, something I'm passionate about, but it's opened my mind to so much stuff and showed me how much of the world there is out there. And, you know, but no, once again, little fabrication going on through the media.
He's lying.
He's lying on me. he
He's lying.
photoshopped them bitches. No, actually,
So we're going to this show, and Andrew's like said something. He's like, "So Ashton, like, what is your type?" or something like that, right? And Ashton was like, "I don't know. I like a twink." And I was like, "What's a
Like
twink?"
a Twinkie? Fat ass?
Oh yeah, then he explained it, and you were like, I'm a twink.
Well, they started out explaining it, and it was like, I don't know, just like a skinny guy with nice hair. And I was just like, okay. It's like, you know, nice eyes. And I was like, and then it got graduated.
Okay.
And at the end of the conversation, I was like, twink. Like,
Andrew literally like ran his hand down your thigh.
You're like, please. You're like, no, I've done nothing to deserve this.
it's kind of like that movie Dewey Cox. He's like, yeah, you had sex with me too, and I've still had mixed feelings about it.
You made Zach question his whole persona. He was like, I don't know what
I'm serious. At one point, I literally was like, is this what I am, and didn't even know it? Like,
I am gonna let a man fuck me so hard.
You have a build of a twink, though. Not the
See what I'm
personality.
saying? Here we are.
We fucking knew it.
The universe, just everything goes in a fucking circle, and it comes right back to your damn front doorsteps. Call me Chief fucking Twinks Master over here, I guess.
Oh, we're naming him that now. That's the new nickname, Chief Twink Master. We love it. I'm getting a jersey with that on it.
I'll get one made. I don't care. Twink Master 69.
That's hard. What's your favorite football team? I know nothing about sports.
Go Eagles. Let's go Birds.
Hard. All right, doing it, boys. Philadelphia Eagles, Twink Master 69.
I will say this. Like, I'm very thankful that there's been people, because that's opened my mind to like different communities and stuff. And one of my really good friends from high school, actually, I don't know if I'm putting this in the proper context, but I'm so proud of them. Growing up, I knew her at the time as Bethany, and she moved to Knoxville. So they are currently going through a transition.
Okay.
To the new name Jack and stuff. So I'm very thankful. Like, I have people like that to talk to me in the community, and they're extremely nice. And they come out to the Brickyard sometimes. Actually, it shows, which is really cool. I've never got a chance to introduce you, Ashton, but
I was like, do I know
next time down there, they've invited me down for parades and stuff, and I support anybody in that aspect. You know, I mean, it's
Zach is a
be
fucking.
who you want to be.
Zach is what me and Annie always look at as this is the correct Southern.
I mean, it's life's too damn short. It seems crazy, but we're here for a very short time. So love who the hell you want to love and be who the fuck you want to be. And if I can respect that in any way,
Zach might be
the
most critter I've ever met anybody. But God, he hits you with those things, and you're just like, all right, he's a good fella. Gotta love him. He is. He's a fucking like Mothman.
You could just have a conversation and just look into his twinkish eyes. Just
pop it down there, Animus.
Pop it down there before you get it too, buddy.
Hey, you what, buddy?
It's like
I don't know how your ass is feeling, but my boot is itching to put it right up that son of a bitch.
I'm all loosened up from the show.
Really, Dan.
Yeah, it's really damn. But no, I'm serious. I
Did you hear he fucked an ostrich?
Allegedly.
You
I
gotta
heard it was
use
a
that
stick
word.
ostrich.
It would take 2 people to fuck an
Yeah.
ostrich. Again.
Nah, I will say this. I've had to cut a lot of people off from that I was friends with in high school though because of shit they say that I'm not cool with. I wouldn't be cool with them saying it around. I feel that I wouldn't be cool with them saying it around certain people, so they shouldn't be saying it around me. If you're gonna even take the time to like stoop that low to say shit, then I need to cut you out. Like you need to go. I mean, be a good person. It's not hard.
Exactly. It's like
Zach.
I gotta. You can go. You can go and ask your next question. Go for it.
It's time for the question. Master Killer.
Okay.
Satisfaction is the death of desire. Truth in the Age of Lies.
Conservative military image.
Hey
Nah,
Zach,
I'm
Ashton
kidding.
doesn't like that band.
Nah, I don't know.
It's a hard question.
Run it by me again.
Satisfaction.
Yep.
Is the death of. Is it dishonor or desire?
Desire.
Desire.
Yeah,
That's what
I remember we was talking about this once before and you messed it up.
Yeah.
I really like Satisfaction, honestly.
Satisfaction is the better album.
I
think
personally like it.
They're all 3 so different.
They are.
I just really like this question.
I got into a little bit of a spit and spat, a little bit of a was about to go down into and scratching some gravel with old Mike Latham over Marauder the other day.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Mike Latham, who we will never.
Oh,
have
he's a
on
good
this
guy.
podcast.
He
We
cracks
love
me
Mike
up.
Latham.
Hey, he's always like, he's my favorite guy. He goes, he just stands there, anything you say, he goes, yeah, he's like the not so Slim Shady of Knoxville.
The not so Slim Shady.
I said one thing the other day, and I was just like, Mike Latham will do anything but come to Knoxville shows.
Did he? The Chattanooga show me and him went to was a wild ride. Let me tell you.
Mike
I done some stuff I shouldn't have on that trip. And speaking of panic and attacks and anxiety, it spiked right during San Squigabooger or whatever that band's name was.
Sanguisugabog.
Yep.
You know the joke that I say of Citizen is music for hardcore dudes to send to dates on Tinder.
I could see that.
Mike Latham is the poster child of that joke.
Yeah.
Is this something that he does?
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I like Mike though. He's
I
class
love
A
him.
guy. He's a really good guy. He
One of the greatest moshers ever.
Yeah, he come down, spent a night here in Lee County with me. It was fun. We chilled, had a fire.
I would say Zach might be one of the best moshers in this area. This fucker.
I want to talk about that because Zach has a very specific way of moshing. No matter where you are in a room, I mean, unless if you were at a local hardcore show, no matter where you are in the room, you will hear.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And it's Zach.
It's just
and it's not like he always jumps and.
I didn't know I'd done that until I thought I don't know why. It's just like a rhythm thing. I punched my hand, and I always wonder why my hand is bruised the day after a show. Like it's bad bruised. And it's from I don't know if it's like a rhythm thing. It's not something I don't. Here's the thing about moshing. I feel weird talking about it because I generally don't know what I do. I'm like I'll do this, do that, but I've never been one like sick combo. I don't know. I just
motherfucker like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah.
Hyper combo.
He's like,
I'm more of a just the most shows that I go to. There's a very large like area for like the pit. I just like run, like body slam into them, and then like I do a little bit in the middle, and then I run back, and it's just constantly just like back.
I like a little
and forth,
side to side action for sure.
I want to put Animus in the brickyard and see what happens.
I like a little side to side action for sure. That's a good time.
I think my go-to is the
I got destroyed at that last show. I genuinely think I was the most hurt at the last show.
My favorite is the little. It might can be any kind. It can be. I sometimes like to go for a little side kick. I like to go for a spin kick, and then it's whoever I hit. I don't care who you are. The next thing you're gonna see is me turn around, and I'm just gonna start hitting you. I'm gonna hit you a good 3 or 4 times, and then it's on to the next person. We're gonna play a little game here.
Spin kick.
and then just wail on whoever the fuck I hit, and then it's on to the next.
Pull the 38 out.
Goddamn right, brother. Pull out a
reholster.
Pull out a 45.
Break the arm, walk away.
Goddamn, pull out my 45. I'm gonna show them that. Look at that. All right, next person.
Number 45 is just a caliber.
Goddamn right.
There was a video that I showed both Tyler and Ashton just like maybe an hour ago at most. But it was me at the.
I couldn't get through that video.
It was me at the show, and like I fell, and like I got up a little bit. I was mad that I fell, so I was like, okay, I'm booking it to the vocalist. So I went to the vocalist and just started swinging on it.
You should have to Andrew.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my god, was it during Melee at the last Melee show that I went to? I spin cucked, if you will.
I said that too at the show.
And a guy perfectly rolled under my foot.
Oh, I've been pissed.
He hit an iframe, Tyler. I can't be mad. It was like I wasn't even aiming for him. I was just spinning, and he rolled under my foot. And I like almost fell because I saw his body. And I get up and like I'm disoriented, and Evan looks at me and he goes, "That guy just rolled under you."
Dude, he just parried your attack, brother. He fucking Elden Ringed your ass. He's about to fucking ding, ding.
About to hit you with that old 1-2 Mayweather and catch you that 3-4
God damn,
McGregor
brother.
on the
He
way
had
up.
a fucking sword ready. He's about to hit you with the good old fucking. Get back here.
Hit a Korean backdash on me.
There's some good moshers in Knox. Coming up, there was a lot of really good moshers, like really scary though. I mean, it's
back in the day it was felons.
Yeah, I mean,
I did 10 years into Slammer, and now I'm out.
Those guys
we have some real aggressive ones up here.
You have hardcore crews though.
Yeah. Yep.
No, Knoxville's never really been a crew thing.
There's a heavy CYC influence here.
The scariest moshing that I was involved in was at LDB, not at LDB though. The pre-show.
It was
There's some
after show.
No, the pre-show. Andrew and them was talking about the after the show. I didn't go to that. I had fucked my ankle up diving off that 11,126 foot stage that LDB decided was necessary. But the pre-show at the portal.
Oh.
Serration. Magnitude?
I can look this up.
No, not Magnitude. I know, but Last Wishes, Pain of Truth. I know for sure those two were on it. But the vocalist, the dude that wore the bulletproof vest.
Momentum.
Yeah, Jordan.
Momentum. They played. And I don't care during Last Wishes, Pain of Truth. That's my shit. There's some videos of me right there with the FSU dudes beating the piss out of me, but I'll give them one thing. I gave a few licks back to them. They was cool. There was no issues. They was very upright people. You know, it was not like a, hey, we're this crew. We're going to come fuck you up. Don't you even try it again. They hit me with some licks. I caught them back, and everybody had a good time. Although the vocalist of Momentum did body slam a kid like 3 times right next to me, and the security stopped him. He was just piecing him up. And I was like,
there's back.
It gets so much harder. I don't think you understand. Every day it gets just that much harder to defend Jordan.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. No, the fact that even he made fun of Aaron Lewis from Stained.
Aaron Lewis from Stained? Hey, even some of that country music he done was killer.
I don't know if I can say that. But
what was that song he done?
I don't want to hear it.
No, I was thinking of Jamie Johnson.
But
also has some tracks.
But Jordan making fun of him was pretty fucking funny on Twitter. But also the fucking, you know what tweet I'm talking about, Ashton. The just took 4 scoops of pre-workout. Let me tell you how this goes after. Retweets his own tweet with the quote, "I lived, retards." I was like, what a fucking tweet.
There's a pretty heavy CYC influence up here. There's like every show.
Sorry. No, sorry.
Well, every show that I go to, there's at least third is just full CYC dudes. And you know, most of them like they're really chill. Like, obviously they'll mosh hard, they'll throw down really hard, they'll throw fists. That's fine. I'm no stranger to that. But there's this one specific guy where all of his punches feel very, very personal and very like, okay, he's aiming to hit you in the face. And most of the other guys that I see, it just happens. You get hit, it just happens. But
This
that
guy,
one
like,
specific
you
guy.
get home after he hit you, and you're going through your pockets, and it's like he wrote you a letter, left it in your pocket after he beat your ass. He's like, "Remember me, bitch?"
Yeah, I'll do it again. And he wears like studded padded studded gloves to shows too. And he's hitting the floor, and you can hear like a knock.
Well,
You can hear a knock on the floor, and he hit me in the face last show. And that one guy, but also, you can't really do anything about that because he's in a crew. You're gonna get your ass beat if you complain, really.
Yeah.
What's like we were talking about with Ben last week is, what's so different about crews back then and now?
They were gangs.
Back then they were gangs. Like not like Juggalo gangs. Those were gangs.
Yeah, they might actually shoot you.
The Juggalos aren't, but and now they're just like it's.
My thing is,
looking at it. If you were looking at it from a standpoint, ETHC can be considered a crew because of how much we give back, but even then, no.
My thing is, so I grew up and I had the opportunity to go. I was right in between of 3 areas of shows, but I didn't get to go to them very much because I didn't have a driver's license. I was just a kid, and I was sweet talking Jesse, who was in the metalcore at the time. I'd be like, "Yo, Jesse, there's a metalcore band playing this," but really it'd be all hardcore shows. So not only was I going to Knoxville, I would go to Whitesburg, which was crazy. I seen a lot of really good bands there, but a lot of those guys that I looked up to, that was all straight edge, they moved to bigger parts of Kentucky and Ohio, and they joined Swing on Sight. But there was one kid in particular, I'm not going to name him. He kind of, back in the day, even as a little kid, he'd come up and be super cool with me. But he was always a dweeb. You could tell the guy was trying too hard to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he joined a crew. I bumped into him at LDB, and I was like, "Hey man, how you been doing? What's up?" And he was just doing good, and looked away, and I was like, "Fuck that guy." He just joined a crew, so he grew a set of balls all of a sudden. It's the same as these fucking high school kids that get picked on and then go become cops. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same concept. I don't know. I respect crews. I'm all for having your buddies back and doing stuff like that, but
there's a point where crews become we're just assholes who are gonna make this not fun though.
Yeah, there's never been an issue with that in Knoxville that I ever recall of. It's never been crews because just everybody's been friends. Especially when I was coming up, the old people at the Long Branch, it was all just so tight, and it's going back to that.
I would actually, who I'd like to have a conversation with that on, Ashton? I feel like Scott would be an interesting one to talk about, because so my uncle Scott is a man in his 40s, so he grew up when hardcore was starting. So he was he's been in it since then.
H hardcore.
Yeah, he's been in since then. That's been his shit. So I think it'd be interesting. We've never recently me and him were talking about Marauder and All Out War, and he's like, I remember seeing them two in Atlanta about 20 years ago, playing to 5 people because no one fucking liked them. And I was like, huh? I was like, what?
It's crazy.
And
a lot of those bands that we idolize and shit, that
no one gave a fuck about.
Nobody cares.
It sucks.
Yep.
It sucks, but that's just the way it was.
And that's what he'll tell you. He'll be like around those times when those bands came around, it was Earth Crisis. That's all. He's like, that's what you gave a fuck about.
Earth Crisis.
Earth Crisis also got mainstream recognition.
Oh, they
back
did.
In the day.
They did, but
So,
that was
that
but
also contributes.
as the New York hardcore people will say, Earth Crisis killed Youth Crew overnight. It wasn't when Earth Crisis came out, Youth Crew was dead. It was dark hardcore. Everybody wanted. It was Earth Crisis and Integrity. And they said, so what if we did what Negative Approach did?
I'm sorry.
How do you not get Integrity?
You don't?
No, I'm picking Integrity. What do you mean?
I'm
from Virginia.
Oh, I thought you said I don't get Integrity.
Yeah, I thought you said you can't get into them. I was like, whoa.
That was weird.
But I'll tell you, I had a really cool conversation with a guy.
if you're into hardcore in Virginia, you have to like Integrity.
Yeah. I had a really good conversation. This goes back to what literally the bands we're on the subject with and the crew thing. So, matter of fact, Ashton, the show that I met you at the loading dock,
Right.
when we turned around, I drove back to Lee County, got in the van, slept through the whole way back to Dayton, Ohio, to where we played for 2 nights in a row. It was right outside of Dayton. It was called Huber Heights.
Yeah,
We
I know
played
where
these
that is.
2 VFW shows for Bluegrass, but we had a hotel room, and I was like, I didn't know how to use Uber. I'd never used it a day in my life. And I was like, I want to go downtown to Dayton and see what's up. So
Dayton's cool.
Oh, it was awesome. So I'm walking down the strip, just checking out the old historic stuff, and then I hit the bar strip, and I noticed this guy. I'm like, I'm going to go in this bar. It looks cool. Sitting there having a few beers, and I don't know. I kept looking at this dude. I was like, this
You were
guy looks
having
like he was in...
sexual thoughts.
I will beat on you like a garage sale couch if you don't let me finish my story.
Please do.
But I was looking at this guy, and I was like, he looks like he's into hardcore. And I walked up to him, I was like, hey, man, and he was older, like late 30s. And I was like, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but like, was you ever into the hardcore scene at all around here? Because I'm just curious about it. And he was like, yeah, dude. He's like, I caught Snapcase here back in the day. Yeah, and he like started mentioning Earth Crisis, Integrity, and he was like, we had a really good scene, but crews ruined it because there were just so many fights and stuff going on, like too many tough guys, so the venues would just fall apart because the venues didn't want to welcome anybody back because of all that. But
You know,
so it's not just, it's an everywhere thing.
I can't really think of any bands now that are from Dayton.
Ohio?
Yeah.
I don't know about Dayton, but Ohio in general.
I mean, they fall in the
no.
Midwest category,
Bog.
I'd say.
Well, dude, I know plenty of bands from Ohio. I just don't know if any of them.
I don't know. I don't know specific areas. The only band that I really know is like specific area or like fucking ingrown, and it's because I know them. I fucking lived in Idaho, and I met Charlie because he was in a Rejection Pact, and I was like, this band's
I love
sick.
some ingrown.
I mean,
I love guns. I love hardcore. I love camo.
If you like punk,
I just know my Washington hardcore bands.
Their drummer Charlie, he's in another band from Idaho, which is how I met him actually, called Rejection Pact. It's like old school punk shit. It's really fucking good too.
Nah.
But it's funny because like it makes me laugh. I'm like, oh, everybody fucking knows fucking ingrown now. When I lived in Idaho, no one fucking knew who they were, and like I can still just hit up trying like, you doing good, Chief? He's like, yeah, dude, how you been? I was like, no, just fucking chilling. He's like, he'll literally just be like, are you planning on coming back to Idaho ever? I was like, I might come back for like a trip one day or some shit. Just nothing like permanent. And he's like, if you ever do, just fucking let me know, man. I was like, will do.
I had never heard of ingrown. Go ahead.
Charlie from Ingrown?
Yeah, their drummer.
Let's have him on the podcast. That'd be funny.
I can make it happen possibly. I can just hit him up.
I had never heard of ingrown until I went to...
It was that
Greens-
show.
Yeah, Greensboro, North Carolina with Drain, Pain of Truth, and Ingrown. And, 3-piece, I was like, this is badass. And that's... I loved them. Loved them since.
They're awesome, dudes. They're the...
Hey, are we allowed to take a time out during these things or anything?
If we need to, yeah, we can.
I mean, I literally just got to use the bathroom. I didn't know if that was feasible.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. We can do a BRB and then
Don't
come
talk
back.
about me too bad because I have ears.
No, we won't. We'll also do a BRB. So, guys, we'll be right back.
The nitty gritty
We're
stuff,
back.
y'all.
Zach is back. We're back. We're doing shit.
We back, baby.
Where do we start? The nitty gritty?
Let's talk about Matt Honeycutt.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Tell us about...
Oh,
tell
wait,
us
Animus,
about,
you don't know this?
No.
Oh, yeah, this dude just... Yeah, we'll let Zach tell a story. It's pretty cool.
So, when did you start your correspondence with Matt Honeycutt of Kublai Khan?
So, like I said, first time I'd ever seen Kublai Khan was with Andrew and Jesse, which is where like Full Swing started in Johnson City, right after Balancing Survival and Happiness had come out. Like the Guilty Dog was just on top, but it was to a room of 7 people. So later on, years go by, I'd been a fan of Kublai Khan, kept on listening to him. Well, we caught them with Terror. And who else was on that package? It was right after Swan Song come out.
Was it a Acacia Strain?
No, it was right
Sans-
after
I-
Swan Song.
Sans,
Sang Sweet Sugabog.
them, and maybe
Uh,
Pain of Truth.
Oh, sorry, was it
Yeah,
Pain?
it was
Was
Pain of
it
Truth.
POT?
Yeah, because I saw the same show.
Okay.
In North
In
Carolina.
In Akulu. No,
Yeah,
Akulu
yeah,
was just on my set. I don't know if it was
Okay.
on yours.
We caught them in North Carolina, and I had known Matt was a bit of a country music fan, so I walked up to him just to talk to him after. It was just like, "Hey man, sick set. Want to let you know I didn't know he was into country music." And we stood there and talked for about 15, 20 minutes, and he was like, "Dude, let me get your number and follow you on IG." And then he found out I played Bluegrass, and we just have kind of became good buddies. He was kind enough to buy some of my merch that he has hanging up in his tattoo shop, and we messaged back here and there just to, keep in touch on the road. So I bumped into him at LDB, and we hung out for a little while. And some nights we just stay up for a little while talking about old country and bluegrass. It's fun, So cool guy.
I remember hearing about this, and I was like, huh? I was like, what?
When I heard about this for the first time, I was like, "This is crazy." But I was also
Yeah.
like 16.
It's
Oh,
like,
he's a nice
famous
guy.
people?
it was just weird to me because, to be fair, when it comes to like being a little screamy guy like myself, when it comes to hardcore, like my two influences for how I sounded was Matt Honeycutt, and the weird one is Storm Strope, who is the original vocals for Last 10 Seconds of Life.
Yeah.
Because he just has this like really raspy style. He almost like Matt just almost talks it, and it's just like, oh, that's so fucking cool to me.
Yeah.
So those were like my two that when I heard, I was like, huh? I was like,
That
what?
early stuff that Kubla Khan was doing, even before Balancing Survival and Happiness, what was it?
Youth War.
Youth
War?
I
War.
don't like
Oh
Youth
yeah.
War
I love
as
it.
much.
Oh,
We
It's
kind
so-
of fuck
loved
with it. Me and
Yeah.
Poopy listen to a
I
lot in the
fuck
car.
with it. Yeah.
I like
That
it. It's not my favorite.
Color Code.
Mhm.
That track hard.
It's so
What
good.
is your favorite Kublai Khan album?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, Balancing Survival and Happiness, because it was.
What
It-
you saw them on? Mine's
Yeah, but I mean, not only that,
Self-destruct.
I think that the lyrics in Balancing Survival and Happiness was very. I think he was going through. I've never talked to him because we don't ever really talk about hardcore. We don't. It's just not anything that we discuss. It's always country music and just shooting the shit. And like he slides up, I'll post videos on Instagram to my porch, and he's like, "You're living life, man," and that's our conversations. But I think that maybe he might have been going something through there because Balancing Survival and Happiness was wrote fucking killer. But also off that new stuff, that song Take a Swing at Me,
Resentment.
Yeah, Resentment.
fucking killer song. And I think that's a really good song for anybody that has looked back at shitty things they've done and like, damn, I deserve to have my ass beat.
That's what
And
I
I've done that.
always.
Like I'm a guy that has done shit that I live with regret every day on, and like after hearing that I was like, that's what I love about music. You can tell when somebody's writing something like that, you put yourself in the place of that and you're like, damn, someone relates to what I'm going through. Like I cannot believe that there's someone out there that truly understands. And then you see a room full of people yelling and you're like, all these people are just like me. We're human, we're flawed, we make mistakes, we all fuck up.
This is a little off topic, but I don't think I've shown anyone this, and I think Zach would find this really cool. It's a backstage pass for Terror, Drain, One Step Closer, and Dare.
There. Wow, that's sick.
Scott. Oh, I gotta hang this up behind my cross.
Sick pit.
That was an amazing show. I wish With Honor wasn't on it, but
You
I
talk so
digress.
much shit on this band, and everyone else is like, they're a good band.
I hate them.
I don't.
band?
With Honor,
Don't
apparently
care.
they're just like Comeback Kid, which I'm.
It's Comeback Kid, and I love Comeback Kid. I think a part of me, like, because Misery Signals was supposed to be on that show, and then, like, with COVID and everything, they got shut out of the border. So they put With Honor had just come back and signed to Pure Noise. So they were put on the show, and I listened to them that week. I was like, okay, I can get down with this. This is okay. And then they played for an hour and a half.
That's
Terror,
insane.
yeah, Terror and Comeback Kid were the headliners, and they had to play. Comeback Kid played for 45 minutes. Terror played for 25.
Oh no!
So,
I would have killed somebody. I would have There would have been some heads getting thumped right then, buddy. I'd have been stomping a mod hole in somebody's ass.
It's the exact same thing with, like, why Andrew doesn't like Joyce Manor. Is because Joyce Manor said that stuff.
You start stepping in terror time, you're stepping in old Ziggy Wiles this time.
I was like, I've never been more upset because that was the first time I had ever seen Terror, and they played for 25 minutes.
Was it a barrier show?
No.
Hell yeah.
But the stage was...
no. First time I seen Terror was in North Carolina on that one package. It was a great stage. Wasn't too high. You know.
It was Dare, One Step Closer, Drain, Comeback Kid, Terror, With Honor, Love is Red, Mutually Shared Destruction. It was in this gravel parking lot in Nashville. Okay? It was
in a parking lot?
It was kind of like a parking lot. It was kind of like a fairgrounds type.
Damn, Terror went more downhill, I guess. Shit. I got them playing them in a... They're back in the fucking Denny's.
Huge. It was like a fairgrounds type thing.
What the fuck is up, parking lot?
What the fuck is up, VDOT? We appreciate you.
There was this one opening band. Won't go into them. I didn't like them. And then they played Dare. This band was literally like, we will sell you merch if you give us crack. They left the stage with that. Dare got on stage next. And like, the first words out of Angel's mouth are, "We are straight edge." But
pussies.
There was one person in that entire area moshing for Mutually Assured Destruction, and his name is Liam H. Robinson.
Who the fuck is Liam H. Robinson?
No clue.
Bitch.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know Liam.
I actually watched some of that podcast. That was a really cool podcast. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of my favorite part of that podcast was you always talking. 90% of it was just Liam absolutely debating his little sibling. He was like, "You're so fucking stupid. I can't stand it. Why'd you quit that job? I'm gonna kick your ass." And I was
let me tell you something. That whole week was the fun. So I'm just gonna go ahead and preface this, Zach, with Ashton has a certain name in my phone, and I'm gonna explain it in a second. Because
what is it?
Ashton's name on my phone is Car Crash. The same week all this shit happened.
No.
Was it not?
Week.
Was it a different week? Okay. It was around the same time though.
Right.
So Ashton texts our group, because we have a group chat on Snapchat. It's me, Animus, our friend Sid, and Ashton. And Ashton takes this group chat when we're and goes, "Fucking curb the car. Now I have to go get a new tire." My only reply was, "Were you on your phone?" And Ashton goes, "Either way I answer this, I'm gonna look bad." And I was like, "Get off your fucking phone and drive then."
And now that's become like an inside joke. If anything happens bad to Ashton,
it literally is because
damn phone.
It's damn true though. Because why did Ashton get fired from Crumble Cookie? On your phone.
I don't know. I never keep up with your employment stuff, but hey, it's all right.
It's so
good.
funny.
I've been at Dunkin' for a month now.
Good. You need to be dunking that phone in your pocket.
Hey, you beat 2 days.
Oh yeah, but you know what? You know what else Ashton did? Ashton recently got in trouble at Dunkin' because we were hanging out one night and you stole some munchkins.
Oh my god! I stole like 3 munchkins and they got mad at me.
Yep.
We don't get free food at all.
Let old Uncle Zach here give you some advice. You need to be dunking that cellular device in your damn pocket and be doing your job.
You wait till I finally do the thing to you that I never got to do to my friend Seth, and you're gonna fucking hate me.
Who?
So my friend Seth, he was one of my friends in Florida. He used to work at Dunkin's, and I kept telling I never had a chance because I used to not go to Dunkin' a lot. But I was like, one day I'm just gonna go get a black coffee from Dunkin', and I'm gonna put my dick and balls in it, take a picture of it, and send to him and go, "Can you make me this?"
I think that would hurt you worse, wouldn't it, if it was hot?
No, it's gonna be like an iced coffee.
I've never been to Dunkin'.
You just get a jolt through your body from all the nerve endings. How cold it is.
Can we take Zach to Dunkin' Donuts one day, Ashton? Can this be like a little thing we do? Because I would love to order Zach a little sweet coffee, like a little cutesy coffee drink, and just have him sit there sipping on.
That's what I want is like when bands that we like come, I want to have a content episode where it's just.
Oh, we're going to. We already have one. We have one with Dim's Fighting Words. We're gonna take them to fucking Pals.
Oh my bad.
'Cause-
And then
Yeah,
I
do
have
like
my
the
own
Wiles.
beef with Ben. Once he comes up here,
You're
I have my
fighting him.
own thing to do with him. I have to fight him in the name of
Oh,
Dr.
you might
Pepper.
want to tell Zach about this because Zach is also a
Okay,
Dr. Pepper
so-
fan.
Our last podcast episode, which was the one that I was looking forward to the most, was Ben from
So you
Dem's
don't
Fighting
like
Words.
Dr. Pepper, huh?
I love Dr. Pepper.
I was about to say you better.
Ben doesn't, and that was the most heated I've ever been on any of these like podcasts when he said that it was shit. So I was like, okay, when are you coming up here? Like, when are you gonna come
Speaking
around?
of cruise,
like,
we'll
this
start
area?
one right now.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking,
Yeah, I'll
I
just
don't
join
know Ben,
CYC.
but I've
I'll
got
just
fucking
invite
beef
everyone
with
from
him.
CYC. Yeah. So he was like, okay, well, we might head up over there maybe by the end of the year. So I was like, okay, I'll literally be counting down the days. So I will drive to
Cool.
Portland, go to that
Did
show,
you just light
and
a cigar? Hold on.
yeah, we agreed that we'd fist fight. Whoever wins has the right opinion on Dr. Pepper.
You better win.
My vote's Dr. Pepper.
I love Dr.
I even like Pib. I mean, I'm not even much of a pop
Let
drinker.
me tell you, fella.
I don't
I
drink much
fucking
pop.
love me some Mr. Pibb.
I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I'm very worried about my health, so I've been trying to lay off the pop. So
he's drinking beer instead.
Drinking beer, yeah.
You're like I care
Trying
a
to lay
lot.
off the pop.
You're like I care a lot about diabetes. Fuck the liver.
listen, my
Well, I don't
kidneys
care
are
about
working just
alcoholism.
fine. The liver, it's gonna be a long year, little buddy. You jump in there and you hang in there, son.
Got that bitch running on overdrive.
Listen, nah, that
Wait,
liver's
you need
in
to
here.
Talk about Zach. What do you do for a living?
So I work for a radio station where throughout the week I'm an office manager and deal with sales and stuff. And then Wednesday nights I host a 6-hour bluegrass show, and then Thursday nights I host a 6-hour classic country and bluegrass show.
So let's talk about the time that you played "Born to Die" by Trapped Under Ice.
I told Annie about this recently, and I cackled at it because it's so fucking funny.
Yeah. So someone said I wouldn't do it.
I think
And
it
I
was
said
me.
I'm gonna fuck.
That's how it always starts. That's how it always starts.
Well, I played it off good though. Someone said I wasn't gonna do it, and I said I'm gonna fucking do it. So I put it on and I recorded it, but I jumped on the air first and I said, "All right, friends and neighbors, I'm gonna break into my DJ voice for y'all real quick." I said, "Howdy, friends and neighbors. That was none other than Mr. Garth Brooks right there doing one, and we've got one coming up by his grandson. It does not particularly fall in the category of the kind of music that we like, the down home, toe tomping stuff, but." Just to give you a little bit, Garth's grandson was influenced heavily by so many different artists coming up down through the years, including the rock and roll side of things. And this is his brand new band, Trapped Under Ice, headed your way right now here on WSWV 105.5. And I was born to die. I was born to die. So,
And you want to know what's like crazy? Is that story could be true.
Yeah. Justice probably would be like, dude, I fucking love Garth Brooks.
I love Garth Brooks.
Okay.
My
Not big.
favorite Justice quote will
I
always
take
be,
that back.
"I
I'm
love
not a huge
Sublime."
Garth Brooks fan.
Justice saying "I love Sublime." Perfect.
How do you feel about Tyler Childers? You fuck with him?
Okay, so I love Tyler Childers because he grew up in a bluegrass background. I was very fortunate enough to open up for Tyler Childers last year.
I've heard.
Tyler only lives about an hour and a half from me, but he grew up listening to the Stanley Brothers, and I was very fortunate to play with Ralph Stanley II for, I don't know, off and on for about a year, and he showed me a lot of the country that like I would have not got to see. It was my first time ever getting to like travel on a tour bus, which was awesome, and we was playing. I wasn't even with Ralph when I was opening up for him though. I was with a different guy named Chad Hall, who is Tyler Childers' original drummer in high school. So we get up there. I'd never really met Tyler, and he's like, "Chad, how you doing?" And he's like, "Good." He's like, "It's my mandolin player." So we get shooting the shit, and they go out and warm up, and they start warming up with a Stanley Brothers song, and I was humming it backstage. He walks by, he's like, "You know that?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we sit there and harmonized on "She's More to Be Pitied," and it was cool. Tyler's a really nice guy. I think he's doing a lot to, in the way that I was speaking, he comes from an area like I did where there's not a lot of understanding. And I think Tyler is doing a great job at
pushing that back.
It hurts me to see that all these people that was diehard Tyler Childers fans that fell in the yee category was so like, oh, they loved his stuff like Cole and, you know, Feathered Indians, White House Road. But he comes out with a song about people simply loving each other in a different setting, and they want to shut him down. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's
it's shitty.
I'll be honest. I'm somebody that when I'm so weird. I don't like a lot of modern country music.
I have a handful of the newer country I listen to. That's it.
That's really not my thing personally. Except I like Tyler Childers. I like some Zach Bryan. My girlfriend has showed me.
I like some Zach Bryan.
I'm like, this is good. I like this. And I like Tyler Childers
Zach
too.
Bryan. I got to see him open up, or not open up. There's a really good artist from Eastern Kentucky right now. I'm on your standpoint. I'm not very into the new country aspects. It's nothing that. It's not my cup of tea. I grew up in a very traditional, like the George Jones, Loretta Lynn's, the Dolly Partons. But Zach Bryan, hell of a like, you know, the guy's lyrics is great. I think he handled his arrest like a little bitch, but that's a different story. I mean, literally, I watched the video and it kind of had me cackling. But like I said, Tyler, I think he's doing a great job at.
He's bridging a gap that's never been bridged before.
Bridging a gap, and the thing is, he's putting a different understanding of what Appalachia people are like, and I love that. Because for years, there's been, oh, you're from Appalachia, you're a closed-minded, ignorant guy. You grew up in a holler where moonshine comes right out of the rocks.
Yep.
And he's getting out there, and he's like, no, we have, you know, we're able to think for ourselves, and I like that, and I think we need that in this area to progress.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of that. But for me, country music was like a very late thing in my life. Like my family listened to like a lot of country music, but nothing that like interested me at all. The thing that weirdly fucking hooked me was the Fallout game series, because it's like all the soundtrack is like 50s country and like classic music, and I was like,
50s and 60s
awesome.
Country is my shit, man.
I was like, this is whatever this is fucking cool. So people like him, like, kind of like was like, oh, this is like that stuff, but newer. I fuck with this. This is the stuff that I like. It's like storytelling. I like it.
Yeah. 50s and 60s country is my shit. The weird thing is, I never grew up in a household that played bluegrass or classic country. My mom was into strictly 80s and 90s country, and my dad was strictly into like Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin, Bob Seger.
That was my grandfather. It was like shit like that. That was his thing.
I found a bluegrass record when I was like 8. I mean, a legit record vinyl. I've got it framed up in my bedroom. Put it on, and it was Jimmy Martin singing Sofrani, and I was like, "That's my shit."
Like, this is my new favorite thing ever.
Something bit me.
That's the weirdest.
And bluegrass, and the thing is that people don't understand. You know, it blows people's mind when they find out that I play bluegrass or make a living from it, and then I go to these hardcore shows. There is not much of a difference at all when it comes to lyrics. They're both telling the same hard shit. Hardcore is very open, like, hey, this fucking sucks. I'm going to tell you how, you know, I mean, it's your form of expression of the shitty parts and aspects of life. Bluegrass is the same way. It's just telling hardships and hard, you know, hard tells for hard-hitting people.
I will say this, and this is a weird fucking take that I have, are actual bluegrass, or like even like actual rednecks, are the fucking same as punk kids. Cause I grew up a punk kid. I was like punk and then hardcore, but then realized I was like, wait, I was like, there's like so much similarity here in like the lifestyles and the beliefs. I was like, this is weird. It was like an odd like opening moment. I was like, oh, there's a lot that's like so intertwined here. They just, no one knows unless you like both. And it was like even weird when I was like, oh, Zach lives on a fucking farm. Yeah, that's pretty fucking punk. That makes a lot of sense now. So, hey,
I'm fortunate to live on my family farm. You know, it's something I love. I love waking up in the mornings. Like, I have a front porch that I sit on, drink coffee on.
You a black coffee man?
So tonight I do for the most part drink black coffee. That's what I was sipping on here. But I put elder lady that lives up the road. She has her own hives, makes her own honey. So I like taking and putting a little bit of honey in my coffee in the mornings.
I've never tried that.
It adds to it. It's delicious.
I'm a black coffee man in the mornings. That's my go-to. It's like a straight just black cup of coffee. I've never had it with honey. That's I'll have to fucking.
It's good. It's not because it's natural sugar. It's not like
it's not like a creamer.
Yeah.
If
You just take
I will say I'll make my own like cold brew and shit, and I'll put creamer in there. I'll make a fucking phenomenal ass cold brew. But
I've tried cold brew from stores, but never tried my own. I would love to. I mean,
cold brew
I
is
enjoy cold
is
brew.
a thing that you have to like kind of learn to make because. I have two things on cold brew. It's either the best thing you've ever fucking had in your entire life, or it tastes like a 70-year-old burnt tire. There's no in between.
Gotcha.
For me, you have to get like the right kind of beans, and the way you make it's fucking simple. Is you steep your coffee overnight, you leave it in there with the grains in it 24 hours, and in the morning you strain it out, and then whenever that's how you make cold brew. It's fucking delicious. You froth a little milk, use it as like a cold foam over top of it. It's so fucking good. But as soon as I wake up, I'm like, I want a hot black cup of coffee and nothing else. Just
I set mine out overnight and like
What?
But I set my stuff out overnight, done in the coffee pot, and wake up. I let my dog out, and as on my way to let my dog out, I hit the start button, go in, brush my teeth, wash my face, and then by then the coffee's good and going. And I'm a big Westerns guy too, so I sit down in the mornings, watch a lot of Westerns. I kind of like base my day around it because like I'll watch Gunsmoke and like one episode of Bonanza, and then I know when the Virginian's coming on, like it's time for me to start getting ready and doing stuff. So
I think the way I start my days most of the time is wake up. I set my coffee out the night before. I'll go feed my dog, take a shower, get ready, and my coffee's ready. And by the time it's cooled off, I've already had my dog taken out. But I listen to my class stuff I have to listen to every fucking day because I'm taking a fucking class for a certification. So that's my day is turn on this video, listen to it, and then in 3 days when they're all done and listened to, I can go take 4 tests. Can't wait.
Yeah. It sucks. Hey, you're gonna be through it one of these days though. Keep kicking ass.
I have
like 5 more weeks. Swinging.
I have like 5 more weeks of this. I can't.
Shit, you're on the downhill side of it.
Yeah, it's
chin up, keep swinging. You'll be out there before you know it.
True. You have to go?
I have to go.
Why do you have to go?
Because everyone else is going to sleep.
You have the thinnest walls I've ever fucking... Brother, my roof is falling through and my fucking walls are not this thin.
No.
So you're gonna hop out?
Yeah.
Fuck it. All right, well, later, dude. Zach, we'll ask... We'll have a little bit of conversation, then we'll end this off with Ashton, I guess, not being here.
Thank you, Zach.
No problem. I appreciate you.
We're gonna play
Absolutely.
Ashton with Animus.
Yeah.
Shit.
I'll see you Sunday.
All right, see you Sunday. Absolutely.
Fuck, I wish I could go to that show.
It's gonna be a good one.
We're deciding if we're going to Charlotte or not. Because my aunt lives in Charlotte. Her and her boyfriend do, who I consider my fucking
Sunday
uncle.
is pretty much a stacked lineup of like some of my favorite local bands that I'm really fucking with right now.
Are you going to that show with Septum Bone on Saturday?
I am.
Okay. Yeah,
Dude, I need to go down to Tennessee so I can see Septum Bone live.
Septum Bone's good, but I'm telling you, Sunday, if Septum Bone was on that lineup, it would be my complete like local lineup Retribution, so hard, love them.
Oh yeah.
They're the boys.
There's a band that's actually on that Septum Bone show that I got to get back on here. Don't know how I'm gonna do it now. But Omen Killer, the headlining for that show, I know them guys. There's a fucking weird way that we met. I think Animus knows how I met those guys was through a guy that we now know is a pedophile because that fucking happened.
Damn.
Yeah, and it was really fucking weird. But those guys, they're good friends of mine. So I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta have you guys back on here again so we can redo the episode that we did months ago. Because I take it down. That's a fun one.
Now, Retribution though, they're one of my favorite like local bands right now. They have a very, speaking of like hardcore and stuff, they have a very 90s Madball influence. I'm a diehard Madball fan, so.
See, that's the thing. Madball has been a late bloomer for me. Like, I don't know. For me, I've had to explain this to Andrew and Ashton plenty of times because I know everybody's thing is you start out with New York hardcore and then you work your way. That wasn't for me because my aunt lived in California, moved back, and was like, here's all the California hardcore bands. Listen to them. And I was like, okay, this is sick. So New York hardcore was like a later thing for me.
I mean, it wasn't a first off the bat for me either. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I wish Ashton would have been here. I hope that we can include this in the podcast because this is something that I would really, I'm not going to sit here and be some person and be like, oh, I just was straight out of the gate into the hardest of hard stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I went to Warped Tour when I was 8 or 9 by a stroke of luck.
Mhm.
A good friend of mine who was older than me, he was very into, like, at the time, he was into, like, Emarosa, Chiodos.
I love those bands, so it's fine.
Well,
that was like
the
a
very
starting
first
for me
mosh
too.
pit I was in, the very first pit I was in was Chiodos by accident.
That's hard.
But I mean, I love Emarosa and stuff, and he was into like Of Mice and Men, you know, A Day to Remember, Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was just a kid. He was like my older brother. One of his buddies fell out, couldn't go to Warped Tour. He's like, dude, go to Warped Tour with us. And I was like, I don't know what, like, you know how country I am now. You got to imagine, I was 8 or 9. I grew up, we had chickens out here, like 40 chickens.
You were even more.
I was like, I don't know about no Warped Tour. Like, I don't know Mom and Pa let me off farm go out. And then finally, he's like, no, we're taking you. I was like, what do I wear? He literally was like, found me a pair of his old Vans shorts, a Hurley shirt. There's a picture somewhere, like, spiked my hair up in a mohawk.
That's
Took
fucking
me, and I remember the bands I seen. It was A Day to Remember.
Hell yeah.
303.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Represent.
You're like, shit,
Yeah.
I'm one of them now.
I
That's fucking wild.
303. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was the very first time we went. His dad drove us down, and it rained like crazy. I'm trying On My Honor, which is a local pop punk band that I would later become good friends with. Them, they played the like stage where you had to vote to get on.
Mm-hmm.
But the band that Chiodos was on it. Scary Kids, Scaring Kids. I Set My Friends on Fire.
Oh.
Trying to think of who else, but no, those were the main ones. Chiodos was the first pit I'd ever been in, because like I get there and I see what's going on. I'm just kidding. I'm like, dude, I don't know. And like at Warped Tour that year, they was giving out so much free stuff, so they just had me carry the backpack because these kids, they're like 15, 16. You know, they're quite a bit older than me.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, come up to Chiodos with us. I was like, I don't know. So I'm standing there and it is so packed. And you got to think I'm like this tall.
Yeah,
I'm getting
like,
squished.
you're like, oh, I can't move.
As soon as they kick in, the baby you wouldn't last
Yep.
people were opening it up to start swinging, and I'm like freaking out. And Jesse realizes what happens at this point, so he like grabs me, puts me up, get to the barrier, and I'm walking by, and people are like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" Like this little kid crowd surfing, but I'm like shaking because I was like just barely made it out alive.
You're like, I do not know what's happening.
yeah. But that was like my first introduction to
That's fucking
any
sick.
form of this kind of music, and I found out like 4 Year Strong was on that.
Okay,
I found out that I really liked like 4 Year Strong and A Day to Remember, and I don't know, kind of went from there. We had a little local music venue right up the road here, and some bands from Knoxville would come and play, and they was all metalcore.
Mm-hmm.
But I got my first opportunity to go to an all-ages show at the Hideaway, and a band called Stand Your Ground played.
That's a band.
And they're like,
right there.
Yeah, I mean, they're good friends of mine now.
Mm-hmm.
Will's a good guy, good solid guy, and God size. But they was like the first real hardcore.
Yeah.
They was like melodic hardcore, but I got to see at the time, and I seen a bunch of guys wearing like Keepers of the Faith hoodies.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
I just gotta.
You're good. I think for me, my thing is because we're talking to Ashton and how Ashton got into everything compared to like how I did. Mine was started out a new metal kid in the early 2000s. I was like, yeah, this is sick. I heard Slipknot for the first time. I was like, that's my whole personality for 16 years. Watch this.
Yeah.
My aunt moved back here from California, and I couldn't go to the show sadly because it was at fucking Capone's. But I remember this exact conversation I had. I got in the car and she was like, have you ever heard of the Black Dahlia murder? And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I didn't know who that was, but I like got home, looked them up, and then that just had opened it all up. I was like, a death metal's a thing. What the fuck is this? It's
I mean, we all have our things that, get us started in it. And
it was like death metal, and then it went like from that to, because she loved the Misfits, to then just hardcore. And I was like, oh, there's so much more of this than Mudvayne, Korn, and Slipknot. It was weird.
It was weird for me because, like I said, Jesse being like my older brother, we're still best friends this day. Like, me and him went golfing yesterday. Mm-hmm. He has a son now, and he got me into this kind of music. But I just he stayed in the lane of the Mice and Men and
metalcore.
Attack and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I found out about, I seen these older guys wearing the Keepers of the Faith hoodies and the like,
and all that shit.
I don't know, because I was never into the skinny jeans,
Yeah. See, that was
long hair.
I
but
liked the
loved
music.
aggression.
Yeah, that's what I liked too. And then I found
Yeah.
out about like 90s and 2000s metalcore, which was
Yeah.
like Poison the Well, Prayer for a Cleansing, which
Yeah.
funny enough are all from my.
Which I'm not gonna lie, like I was into shit like The Devil Wears Prada, loved it.
Oh, I love TNHC.
For today, I was all into that.
I literally in the back of my, because these are like the two bands that's listed by era, but I have a TWP and a We Came as Romans Pig in the back of my phone.
But the thing is, I liked all this stuff I was going to see, and then when I found out about the hardcore guys, they just looked like, I was really into sports coming up.
Yeah.
I wrestled in high school, played basketball, played baseball, and I was like, these dudes just look like my coaches. Like, they're jacked and just wearing like these khaki shorts, but they're moshing their ass off, and I just loved it. So I started looking up everything, found out about TUI, found out about Foundation, Madball, and it just kind of went down. I mean, I was like 12 or 13. Well, no, I was about 11 or 12 when I found out about it. I started going to Knoxville when I was about 12 or 13.
I don't know if you know this or not. You know the vocalist for Today preaches in Johnson City, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Last time I seen them, they played with We Came as Romans and Woe Is Me,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
someone else in Cincinnati. I didn't know that though.
Yeah, Maddie Montgomery.
I thought For Today was hard because I remember when that whole revival stuff
They
was
were-
going on, like
they
For
were
Today,
hard.
Gideon, and
Okay, I'll say this for a fact. I'll be real. Gideon is a band that's only got harder.
Oh, yeah.
Their new album
Yeah.
is
you wear a cowboy hat on stage,
brother. I'm saying, and even
rat on cattle. I mean,
the hardest thing was
rounding cattle up at 3, then going to stomp some heads at 6.
the hardest
I
thing was I remember when the video
remember,
for Too Much Is Never Enough came out, which is off their new album, and he's like in the jean outfit, the cowboy hat, rises and he just flashes his knot on his side. I was like, that's so hard.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
I recently got into like proper like hardcore this year, because before then I was like a huge like metalcore and deathcore kid. I still am. And so I went to Within Destruction's show, their Lotus tour in February, and I was like, ooh, Within Destruction, they're really good. And then Fox Lake was supporting them. I was like, I do like Fox Lake. So I went to that show, and then that's when I first experienced what a hardcore pit was.
Yeah.
Like firsthand, like, and I was like, that's because at first I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of like making fun of hardcore pits. Like, why would someone just fucking
Just
swing their arms? And then I was in there, I was like, it just does something to you. You just do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing about
that was
hardcore.
my first ever pit.
Hardcore is you have to experience it, and that's the thing I think. Andrew and them make fun of me right now for it, because I have not been able to go to a show in almost a year now because
Hey, life happens.
I got fucked over at the beginning of the year, and I'm still trying to recover from that shit. And I'm
life
like,
happens.
hey, yo. So I think the first show I'm going to, I'm going to the first show that Liam was playing with Deceit. I was like, I have to go because I love Liam, and I keep annoying him about it that I'll go to a show eventually. But yeah, that's one thing I'm like, damn, I miss fucking doing ignorant shit at shows. I think the last show I went to was fucking Foreign Hands, Dying Wish, Sea Space Cowboy, and Counterparts, because Counterparts is my all-time favorite band. It was funny because it was, I don't consider any of those bands hardcore. They're metalcore, but they attract a hardcore crowd 100%.
Yeah.
So my friend Cortland, who's recently got into like the kind of music that I'm into, I kind of got him into it. I was like, hey, listen to this. Like, he was like, Rob Zombie is my favorite thing. Then he became friends with me, and he was like, oh, there's this.
It's good to find those bands that bridge the gap.
Oh yeah.
And the thing you was talking about moshing, I mean, I seen the difference between the moshing I seen at Warped Tour, and then when I was going to the Long Branch and seeing these dudes mosh, just like Nick D. I mean, even though he popped me in the head, dude was such an aggressive mosher. I was like, it almost like it was a sport. Like, you had to have a form of athleticism to look cool at it. And hardcore has gave me an opportunity. I'm a fairly happy guy. I love talking to people. Life can be a real son of a bitch sometimes. It really fucking can. And hardcore, if it's one of my favorite bands that's playing for 25 minutes, that's my 25 minutes to push back at a world that's pushed at me for 26 years.
Yep.
In the pit with my best friends beating the shit out of each other, rather than me going out here and doing something stupid.
Yep. That's literally how it is. My two things are just like, oh, I can go to a show and beat the shit out of people, or like, oh, hey, we finished this car project. Let's go be a bunch of idiots on the street for about an hour and a half.
It's good to know there's people that relates.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was in June, like late June. That's when I found out that there was a huge, like a giant, like hardcore / punk scene around me. And I'm very lucky that it's just like the venue is like maybe at most a 30-minute walk from my house.
Oh, hell yeah.
So if I really,
So
really need to,
you're living the true like do it yourself shit. You're walking to shows and
yeah. Most of the time I walk, or like, I just take like a bus or something, and they're like $10. So
that's
like
sick.
a $10 show.
It's the closest show for me is like 2 hours. So that's awesome though that like that opportunity's right there. You're getting into it the right way. That's sick.
Yeah, before I met
And
Andrew,
ever since-
mine were like 3.
Yeah.
Ever since I learned that there was a hardcore or punk like show around me, I went to every single like hardcore and punk show ever since then. So I've been really like getting those like, oh yeah, I know that guy, and I made like so many friends from there because like, oh, I recognize you from every show. And
yeah,
one of my favorite probably just my favorite hardcore band just in general is someone that is local to my city who always goes to these shows, but sadly none of their stuff is on streaming.
Oh,
But
so
they're Cyclone.
They got
that shirt is hard.
Tsunami
Love
and piece thing going on. I'm here for it.
I always give it like 200% specifically for Cyclone, even though sometimes if they're not the headliner, they're only like 8-minute shows for them,
Yeah,
like
so
8-minute
I'm
sets.
hard though.
But those 8 minutes, I'm
you gotta rep
swinging.
you gotta rep your hometown boys.
You goddamn right, bro.
Yeah, I have to. Every single hardcore show, I bring that Cyclone shirt. It doesn't matter who's playing. Doesn't even Cyclone's even.
Do they have
there.
an Instagram and stuff where you could look up like even if they have live videos or anything?
Yeah, it's just Cyclone_HC.
Okay.
And yeah, but I never see. I always think, oh yeah, these guys are so great. But it's like, oh, can I listen to the music? You're gonna have to go to a show if you want to listen to their music.
That's the fucking.
You just have to, and that just makes it feel like just more personal.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Obviously,
shit.
Yeah.
I think. Damn, I'm trying to think of my favorite local bands right now here.
Oh. My favorite local band right now is Melee.
Mine's probably Piss Rot. I fucking love them kids.
Piss Rot's those kids are sick.
I'm a death metal kid at heart. So
we have of youth coming into the hardcore scene right now.
Yeah, I love.
There's so many young kids that's wanting to. This could sound nerdy. I'm not an old head. I'm 26. I'm still a pup myself, but these kids that are just now getting into it, you can tell they're doing their homework each show they come to. They're watching old videos and like even by the merch they're wearing, it's fucking sick. You're like, they're wanting to, Piss Rot sick, Animosity sick, The Extinct.
I think it was whenever I met the kids in Piss Rot. Like I knew from the get because I heard their music. I was like, oh, this is sick. It's what I like. It's death metal, but it's like death metal. But one of them was wearing
they're good at what they do.
They were wearing a Decrepit Birth shirt, and I was like, "Oh fuck, they real? They know Decrepit Birth? Like you're not wearing just like 200 Stab Wounds and shit, like which I love those bands too. I've known the 200 Stab Wound guys for a hot minute because
200 Stab Wounds that partner up with Pain of Truth.
Yep, I talked about them boys.
Yeah.
I talked about them boys when their first EP came out. I talked about them when I used to do my own shit by myself, and I got to know them through that whole thing. So they're really cool dudes. But I remember like talking to them about death metal and stuff, and Ashley was like, "I don't get it," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "You don't get what?" And they were just like, "I don't get the whole death metal thing." I'm like, you just gotta listen to it and get it." And
sometimes things ain't meant for it.
Well, it was funny because Ashton, when I first met them, hated on me for loving Dying Fetus. That's like one of my go-to death metal bands. The new album came out, and they were like, "I get it now," and I was like, "Yeah."
So I'll tell you a funny story about Dying Fetus. The reason I got into them, R.I.P. He was I met him at my first Warped Tour and found out he was local to this metalcore scene here, the shows I was going. He was in a band called Oh God Call a Doctor. They were straight up death metal.
That's a hard ass name.
Dan Roberts was his name, and we hung out. He kind of took me under his wing, and like I said, I was very young, like 8 or 9. He was friends with Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
He was seeing this girl from up the road, and she was like 18 at the time. He was probably like 24.
Mm-hmm.
But they would just like let me come over and chill, stay the night, and all that stuff. But it was a Sunday morning. I remember we was in his white Mustang, the one that he wrecked and the accident happened in. I was talking to him. He was playing a band, and we passed by this church, and the window's down, and right in the middle of me talking, he just cranks it while everybody's standing outside, and he goes, and he had a lisp, so he goes, "Sorry, man, it's dying fetus. Church people." Doesn't say a word else. Keeps on driving. That's how I got into dying fetus. I swear I'll never forget it.
That's mine was my uncle who lives in Charlotte. So I've had to explain this to people here of what kind of old head he is, because he used to just go to all the shows. So when I'm like, whenever everybody was telling me like, oh, last year we went to go see like Prayer for Cleansing and Undying and all of them, I was like, yeah, my uncle's friends with all those fucking bands because he went to high school with them.
Sick. Damn.
So they all just went to shows together. So like the guys in between the Buried and Me, Azazel, Pray for a Cleansing, Undying, all that shit that people love now. He's just like, oh yeah, those are just my friends. We just used to go see hardcore bands together and just beat the fuck out of each other. It's like I forget what song it is, but there's a song that Undying refuses to play live now because of my uncle, because they used to do the fucking Braves the Tomahawk thing every time they'd play that song, and it would just piss their vocalist off. He's like, oh, we're not fucking playing this anymore. So there's like things like that, and I'm like, this is just funny to me. Remember when I first met him, I found out he was into like all the old hardcore stuff, but then he's like I like the extreme side of like every genre, and I'm like, okay. And he was like, this is a band called Dying Fetus. This song's called Kill Your Mother, Rape Your Dog, and threw it on, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is this?
A classic.
I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? And then it was just like, oh, I love all of this shit.
Yo, chill,
I'm like, bro,
chill.
But then like we'll be talking some days and shit, because he's the reason I started collecting CDs, because I'm like, I just like physical media, especially if like smaller bands that I love, because I'm like, if they blow up one day, this is just a cool thing to be like, I have this.
I'm the same way with not only like hardcore but bluegrass. I find a lot of like overlooked locals that I'm really, I guess you could say, the more obscure stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's, did you all ever go? Well, I mean, you lived in Washington, I don't know, but like when you would go to like these amusement parks, I call them finding my gems, when they'd have like those little things where as a kid you could sift through a sandbox and find those gems, and they'd let you take them home with them.
Yep.
I'm the same way with records. I go to record stores and find what I think is cool, and then I'll get home, listen to it, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome, and it blows my mind.
Yeah,
tickles me to death.
I've had that happen a lot of times with like just searching for CDs. I'll find it,
and I love it. I'm
like, this logo looks cool. What the fuck is this?
I've done that a few times, but like I collect vinyls.
That's me. Vinyls, 45s, all that shit.
Yeah, but if I always see like the 7-inch ones, because like if it's like a full-on vinyl, I don't think I can do that, because like that's like the cheapest one is like $25.
Yeah.
But if it's like a 7-inch, it's like
Dude,
$8
for heavy
so I'll
music.
find some, like,
7 inches are the way.
Yeah, I'll just be sifting through like the little like section that they have. I was like, oh, this album cover looks cool, and it looks like something I would listen to, and I have found some pretty good ones.
Usually when you get them home too, there's cool shit hidden in the package, like lyrics printed out,
or a big thing that I'll say to people is, and I like that's why I like when I find like early 2000s and 90s like metalcore, hardcore, or even deathcore bands.
Yeah,
liner notes when they mention other bands, and then you're like, well, let me go find this band, and then you're like,
shit.
oh fuck, this is cool.
It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, but I think that's great. I think
that's how I found that's how I found Despised
fun.
Icon. Was deathcore bands that I liked, like Whitechapel and Thy Art, were wearing.
They played here locally, didn't they? The other day.
Despised? I don't think they did.
I seen like 3 people that I know posted a video of Despised Icon, and can't remember who else, but they played somewhere. It may have been North Carolina.
May have been, because they're on tour right now with Dying Fetus, The Acacia Strain, Gates to Hell, Chamber, and all them.
That was it. I'm gonna be honest with you. One of my favorite bands coming up was the Acacia Strain.
I love the Acacia Strain. I have a really cool Acacia Strain.
Because I found out he was into hardcore, and I was just like, damn, I
have a shirt that Ashton is very jealous that I have. It's the Untitled Goose Game shirt. So it has like a goose on it, and on the back says, "I will never be okay." And I'm like, it's the coolest shirt ever.
I got expelled from middle school for wearing a Acacia Strain shirt.
Yeah.
It was the one where the sheep is getting its head ripped off and the wolf's putting it on.
Yep, that's a fucking cool
shirt.
I
wore a cranium shirt to high school when I got suspended for about a week.
Yeah, let's go.
Just any cranium shirt you could think of. Just unacceptable.
Just do not wear that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the shirt that got me the most looks at school, because there's quite a few that I would wear that people were just like,
that was middle school for me. Like, but high school, I was into the very youth crew, hardcore. So like, they was all fairly plain. It would just like say some slogan, like I remember I had a dynasty beyond measure. So most of the time, and it's very, even to this day, it's bullshit for me because I am the only person really around here into hardcore, like in this town.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody slides up on my Snap stories, like, what the fuck these people doing? Like, what y'all doing? But in high school, they'd be like, what's that shirt, man? I'd be like, oh, it's a minor league baseball team, but it'd be a Madball shirt.
Yep.
And
because they all just look like baseball logos and shit.
And it was like, no, there was no use trying to explain it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's meant either you get it or you don't. I mean, it's open to anybody, but it's not for everybody.
I think my thing that was a big thing growing up where I do and going to a school, because okay, this is a weird thing to explain, but me and my girlfriend have known each other for 16 years now.
Wow! Congratulations,
yeah,
I mean, like
we went to
sick,
elementary school together, and we've just known each other ever since then. So like for me, so her thing was like a day to remember, pop punk, all that shit. That was her, and I was like,
I fucked with some pop punk. And
I did too. That's how we met, was because we both liked a day to remember. And so we talked like one time in high school, never spoke again until like 5 years later, and it was just like, oh, okay, you're cool. But so my thing was just like
that. You tell this very sweet, loving story, and you're like, oh, okay, you're cool.
That's just how we are with each other.
Fine.
Okay, so
acceptable.
She's the really nice one. I'm the one who's just like always fucking with her, and she hates it. She's like, you're nice whenever we're alone, but if you're talking to your friends, you're just like fucking with me. Like, yeah, that's kind of funny to me, just like a little joke.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, fucking, this one annoys the shit out of me. Like, I'm about to break up. Like, my friend, I'd fuck with Ash all the time. Like they'll text me like, wait, I'm like breaking up with Annie, and they're like, oh,
I think you told me about this.
and I'm like, it's just funny.
Ashton's very gullible enough to fall for that too.
Exactly. I've done it like 6 times, brother. Stop falling for it. Like, I'll randomly text them too and just be like, can you come get me? I just broke up with Annie, and they're like, why?
I feel like I could do that because I never do that, and I never like joked about like breaking up with Patience, but I feel like if I one day I just get like, oh yeah, Patience and I no longer, I feel like they'd be devastated.
No, what you need to do is just wait till we're having like a normal conversation with Ashton, and just be like, just text him like, getting ready to break up with Patience, guys, please be there for me, and Ashton will be like, oh, are you okay?
Dude, a lot of little people thought I beat Patience because after the hardcore show is just like the black eye, and like
because she was pitting.
They overheard like me like, oh yeah, my knuckles are bruised after the show.
Damn right I do. I beat her ass one side, the devil eye to the other, buddy.
Man, my knuckles are bruised,
She
and then they
didn't
see
get
her
that
black
antenna
eye.
dialed in just right for the Sunday NASCAR race, and I had to be on her like gummy bears on a set of braces.
Fucking
I had
Jimmy
to,
Johnson
I had
rat.
to explain.
I kicked her ass right
it.
between her shoulder blades.
I had to explain. I was like, yeah, we just came from a show. I swear to God. Actually, she's the one who hit me, because she hit me with all of her force right in the jaw right here.
She was just getting it out, brother.
At the show.
Damn, y'all do love each other.
Annie's afraid.
I mean, to be fair, I was straight up just like, you should just like, because like she's
Listen,
not
there's
super
3
into,
things
like,
I don't care beating up, and that's little kids, women, and old people. It ain't enough for me to beat the shit out of an 87-year-old woman.
Goddamn right, brother.
I'm just kidding.
I was about to say some heinous shit because her grandparents are fucking assholes, and I don't like them.
She's never like been like into like the hardcore like dancing, like swinging your fist. She more of just kind of does like this somewhat 2-step dance.
Cool.
So I was like, I mean, you just gotta like maybe experience what it was. And she was like, but how do you do it? So I was like kind of teaching her how to spin kick and like do the pickup change and then just like the swinging. And I was like, I mean, if you want, you can just hit me at the face at the next show. And she was like, okay.
That looks hard. I mean, see, the thing is, I've never had anybody teach me mosh moves. I've never taught mosh moves. It's not my thing.
I did teach my sister.
And that was it.
I just.
You're just like, let's do it. This
feels
feels right.
Every now and again, I'm like, hey, I think I'm gonna try this. And we was at the Knoxville Hardcore Fest, and I tried windmilling, like old school '90s windmill, and I done it. And then all of a sudden, Andrew and Liam, I heard them going, whoa! And I looked, and it's like, where'd you pull that out of? And I was like, fuck if I know. I was like 6 Coors Banquets deep, just.
I was just throwing shit, buddy.
Hey, buddy, I just let me just tell you something, buddy. I was just a boot scooting, okay?
Dude, let
me ask you all this before we get off here, because my phone hit the 20% mark. What's some of your all's favorite top hardcore bands?
Currently or just all the time?
In general, or I mean, anything. This is y'all's podcast. Y'all screwing this donkey. I'm just holding the head.
I'll do currently right now.
Okay.
1, Cyclone. Dirt Nap, aka Full Choke, Malinois, and then I would probably Dems Fighting Words.
I like them just because the fucking name.
Dude, the name goes hard
Yeah.
as fuck.
Just because I've heard
Dems
that
Fighting Words,
so many times growing up in my life. Them's Fighting Words house. You think that
Dems
old
Fighting
Chevy
Words
can
is
beat
good.
my Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dems Fighting
damn
Words,
right.
you some bitch.
Dems Fighting Words is probably the heaviest out of all of them because
Yeah,
they're more
Oh,
beat down.
They're
They
just-
beat down
But
us.
the rest are a lot more just like local, and I've actually got to
Sick.
see them live, and I'm so lucky to see them live. 'cause,
I feel like that you all have got a good scene bumping up there, especially if it's dragging kids out. You know, what I mean, where it's like
Apparently-
walking distance bus stuff.
You guys
from
are
what I've
awesome.
heard, it's a lot more aggressive up here than
Yeah.
down in Tennessee. From what I heard from Tyler and Ashton, they're like, "Oh, that just doesn't happen at shows." Like, really? That happens at every single one of our shows. It's just you just grab them by them and you just go boom, boom, boom. Just
Not
It
as
was very
violent.
It was very aggressive for the short time that I was growing up. Like, it still pops off every now and again, but not to a crazy an extent. But when I was going to the Long Branch as a kid, it was
popping.
yeah, and it was hard because I was playing Bluegrass that time, and my mom and dad they still to this day don't know what moshing is. Like, every time I've got hurt from it, I've had to pull an excuse out of my ass.
You're like,
Like the time I broke my heel, I said I was jumping out of the back of a truck from unloading feed, and my heel hit a rock and it shattered it. But when I was a kid and would go to the Long Branch, it was nothing for 1 or 2 fights to break out a night. And I remember I was there one time. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a really good friend of mine and love his wife, love his kids. They're like my family. They took me under the wing. There was a vocalist of a band out of Georgia, and it sucks because we all liked the band. The band was very sick, but the vocalist got very drunk and was just being obnoxious. And my buddy's wife, she moshes too, hard mosher, was moshing, and like he bumped into her, and she just shoved him off, and he turned around and said, "You," dropped the B word to her. Before he could even get to her, there was like 3 dudes beating the hell out of him. So the husband seen what was going on. He grabbed the guitarist of the band that looked like McLovin and just had him in a headlock and was just punching him. And he was going, I'm not involved. I'm not involved. He's like, he's just drunk. He's an asshole. And the dude's glasses hanging off his face. And he stops. And he looks around and goes,
Crossfire, man.
Yeah, he literally stops. He goes, hits him one more time and shoves him. But I was like hiding under the table because I was like 14 when this is going on. And I'd get home and my mom and dad would be like, "How was your little concert?" And I was like, "It was real good. Everybody was just nice, respectful people."
Yeah, because when I went home, my dad was like, "Why do you have a bloody nose and just bruises all over you?" I was like, "Oh, I got hit." He was like, "Someone hit you?" I was like, "No, it's fine. I was asking for it because I was at the show." So I had to explain to him, I was like, "Oh yeah, if you go into because like he's more used to like just the push pits because he's more of an old head. He like metallic, like all of like the starter bands."
That's cool that your dad like has at least an understanding.
Yeah, so I had to explain. I was like, "Yeah, this is not a push pit. This is more of you're like flying fists and kicks, and you're gonna get hit if you're not careful." So I was like, to be fair, I was like, I kind of wanted to kind of be hurt because that's what I want in hardcore shows. Not like more metalcore, deathcore, but
I feel like
hardcore
you're gonna
shows,
punch me
I
in
want
the
to get
face. Punch me in the fucking face, Dale.
Like, yeah, I want to get hurt at those shows, and I want to look like that after a show because that just shows of like, okay, yeah, this was good.
Yeah.
So I was like, no one intentionally hit me.
I'm be honest, I don't want to get hurt anymore. I've got hurt too many times, and I'm okay with a black eye. I don't care walking around for a week looking hard, but after the broke heel and the broke arm one, I'm a little sicky of the hurt ones.
I'm still young. I got a little bit more energy for me in the show.
You're the youngest one here, other than Ashton.
Yeah.
How old are you? Animus.
I
about said
Anima.
Anima.
Animus. But I'm
Animus.
19. Yeah.
19.
19.
Okay, yeah, you're young blood. You're still swinging. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was in the same thing though. Like but also still in the same way. It put me in a weird way. I'd go to school, black eyes and stuff, and everybody's like, "What happened?" And I was just like, I couldn't tell them. Be like, "I was in a pit," because they'd be like, "Fucking loser!" Like, what are you talking about? You're in a pit, you know? And it's just like, but then I'd go to those shows and look hard as fuck, and I loved it. So I'm like, you want your battle scars. You want to earn that shit.
Yeah, I know definitely probably like. Because I definitely feel it so much the next like few days.
Oh,
so So I'm just waiting for the day because like I know a lot of my other friends are like in their 20s, like maybe at most like 24. They're even like, no, I can't do it anymore. So
Oh,
I know I'm gonna reset. I know I'm gonna reset age soon, where it's like I can't just go into hardcore pits anymore.
Nah, Andrew jokes around me all the time because I really do. I say it all the time. Like, man, I'm gonna take it easy tonight. I'm gonna chill. I ain't gonna do much
Then you
shit.
never do.
And then I'll hear like one riff that I like. Next thing I know, I'm fucking.
You're swinging on them.
Yeah.
And then I'm just,
It's
you know,
ass,
For me, it's
brother.
always those just slow, just like
Yep.
chug like caveman shit. Yeah.
That's
when
like
it's
that
like, all right.
Madball. What was the kickoff to that Madball riff? It was like, no, Terror. Hardships belong to me. Dun dun. Just the side to side, like I love it.
I'm trying to think of.
I don't know. After LDB, that was the worst I've ever been because it was just 3 days of straight moshing and.
Yep.
I literally laid in my bed and I felt like I was like, this is what it's gonna be like when I'm 80. I laid there for 3 days and contemplated. I was like,
At the last show, I went all out for Cyclone and I was super tired.
I'm excited
like it was
to check them out.
Yeah, I was hurting to breathe, and then Down to Riot started playing, and they played one of those caveman riffs, and I was in like the full Teletubby costume still, and it was like super hot. So they started playing a caveman riff, so I was like, fuck it. So I took off like the mitts, and then I threw them in the air, and then I just went in there just like stomping on the ground after I was completely out of breath. Because I just love those riffs, man. Just like live, it's just throws like something out of you.
I'm trying to think of my,
I've got to ask you. Your name's actually Tyler, correct?
Yeah, it's my actual name.
Okay, because we hadn't. I just know you through the Discord and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I'm excited for you to get out of the show. I'm excited that we finally get to shake and howdy and chill. You know, and
I'm gonna be a little fucking idiot. Oh, it's gonna be fun. I was trying to think of my
It's gonna be a good
my
time.
top hardcore bands. I think I gotta do this as like a mix because there's so fucking many.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I would have to say like top like first to the top head. I'm gonna exclude Counterparts from this because it's like not really a hardcore band, but kind of is.
Who's the one to say it isn't?
True.
There you go.
You're goddamn right. But
Who's the one to say it isn't?
yeah, it's like melodic hardcore. But if I was to put anything in like number one's Counterparts, that's like my go-to.
Remember the band 100th? I fucked them.
Dude,
Who's to say they're not hardcore?
What a good band.
Who's the one to say they're
What
not
a perfect
hardcore?
band. I'm gonna be real.
There's no one
That's true.
to sit there and take a book and say this isn't. Fuck it.
That's true. So I'd probably say Counterparts, fucking Marauders on there. I think everybody now at this point just calls me the Master Killer guy because I'm always like, yo,
Love it.
people are
Love
like,
it.
For the first 3 or 4 episodes, we noticed that Tyler always wore the Marauder Master Killer shirt
Yeah.
every time.
I know,
every
just sick.
fucking shirt.
Some hard shit.
Probably after that, I'm gonna go classic. I'll probably say Minor Threat because that was like my first like whatever that is. I want more of it. And then the reason I got into them was because of Stick to Your Guns, so I'd throw them in there. That band is fucking.
Buddy was ready to stick to your gun.
That band has my favorite like two-step of all time.
Y'all remember when that people was saying "stick to your guns" isn't hardcore?
I do, and I still think that's stupid.
Who the fuck is there to say there isn't?
I'll be real.
Scott Vogel from Terror wore a "stick to your gun" shirt all the time.
He's
he's
a massive Stick to Your Guns fan. That's been known.
Yeah.
But I gotta say how it is. Stick to Your Guns might have the hardest two-step of the last 10 years because it's like a 90s two-step. It's not like the Kubla Khan two-step everybody knows. It's the fucking just a ride from the drums and then just a fucking bass line. It's just like it's perfect. But it's not like a low tuned either. It's just kind of like higher. It's like very 90s hardcore two-step. And I'm like, yes. It's in a song called Dove and Fist. It's right at the beginning. It's the start of the song is a fucking two-step. It's the coolest shit ever. I love that.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, I think my last one might be a tie between Twitching Tongues and God's Hate. I fucking love both those bands, and I know Twitching Tongues.
I know Andrew would love that answer. That's Andrew. That's up his alley.
I have the new God's Hate bag that came out because I was like, I gotta fucking buy this.
Sick.
Yeah, so I love it, but anything that the Young Brothers touch, I'm like, I fucking love that shit.
Yeah,
it's just goated.
They're hard.
They're awesome.
I love
Twitching Tongues is like the band that I get everyone into, as it seems, because I'm like, oh, you like slower, like more melodic music. Do you like hard parts too, though? Because like they got it. It's like if you took Typo Negative and said, "Hey, yo, what if they had a mosh part?"
Typo Negative.
What if they had a mosh part 2 minutes into this song? And it's like, fuck yeah, give me that. Like if they had a song that's like, "Oh, this is beautiful," and then went into dun 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 dun. And it's like,
yeah,
dude, it's what you
got
want.
that slow chuggy shit.
Yep, it's like I'm pit to that.
My phone hit 10%, but I'll say for me.
Yeah, I'm at 9.
Damn, I'm at nothing.
And
on the PC.
I know this is gonna be this episode's long as shit, and
No.
I feel bad. I'm assuming you can cut it down and
Dude,
stuff.
honestly, if there's the only thing I'm gonna cut is the fucking break, because about 2 hours is
Yeah.
where we stop at any, so this is fine.
Okay. For me, I would say, and this is in no order.
Yeah.
Obviously, Terror, because they was my bridge band to get in when I was a kid. Madball. One of my all-time favorites is Foundation. The lyrics,
Yes.
the
Fucking
aggression.
perfect
They're
band.
to me what hardcore was. King 9. I fucking love King 9.
Goated.
Trapped Under Ice.
Fuck, that's one I could have put on mine. I was thinking they
Gotta have Trapped Under Ice. My
Yeah.
dad lived in Baltimore for years, and
Dude.
just TUI. I mean, fucking anything they put out.
Dude, it's like
Trying to think of one more good one.
the kill. Honestly, my whole guess was like, fuck, do I want TUI or the Killer? Because I love both those bands. From that,
TUI, and then I'm gonna say, I love to Backtrack.
oh, Backtrack is so fucking good.
Love them.
And let's think, like, without Backtrack, we wouldn't have Paint of Truth, to be honest. So
Exactly. And Pain of Truth right now is my favorite fucking band
yeah,
out. I mean,
it makes
they've
sense.
got when they done set it off at the LDB pre-show, I'm on fucking the Hate 5-6 video losing my mind.
It's so
I mean,
funny. There's a song that they have that Ashton didn't even know about until I told him, which is a Snake in Disguise featuring Colin Young from
Yeah.
Twitching Tongues, and I was like, "Have you
Yeah,
not heard
that
this
whole
shit?"
album. I love when they go in and they feature Freddie from Madball, and he's like, "Yo, who runs this shit?"
It's
You
fucking
know?
hard.
It's hard.
I love the Justice from TY. The Pit to Pit part is fucking insane on that new
Yeah.
album.
I like the
200 stab wounds. Them literally
200
saying,
stab wounds to your back.
"Yep, dude." I was like, "You really called your own band name?"
Remember my name.
I was like, "That's
Yeah.
hard as fuck."
But I don't know. Those are probably some of my favorite bands out right now. I mean, I fuck with Last Wishes.
Okay.
They was hard. You know,
Okay.
the Days has got it going on.
Oh,
right
dude.
now. That label's got it going sick.
I'm trying to get a Days band on here right now. I'm trying to get Dead Set on here, which is like,
I'll be sick.
dude, fucking perfect, man. I've been addicted to that EP since it came out. It's like daily listen. I'm like, Dead Set EP, listen to that bitch again.
I've got to say, another band that I really fucked with growing up was the Mongoloids.
Oh, damn, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, I really liked them. Kids Like Us, and I really loved Death Before Dishonor.
God fucking damn, what a good band.
We was very lucky enough to open up for Death Before Dishonor, and I really fucked with them hard.
That's a great band.
And some of the others, like, just real brief. I loved like the sound of like Down to Nothing, Cruel Hand.
Mm-hmm.
That whole mix right there.
Yep. You're wearing a band from kind of, I say kind of that area. Criminal Instinct also goated as fuck.
Oh yeah, man. I fucking love me some CI.
That's a fucking goated ass band.
Criminal Instinct is King 9 is what I call a band's band.
Yeah.
All the OGs like Terror and all them, they fucking loved them.
Yep.
And I'm the same way. Criminal Instinct was quick. Their music was fast and punky, but it had that hardcore fucking aggression.
It's like old school hardcore. It's punky, but it's like hard.
Exactly. Hell yeah.
I think I gotta dip because my phone's gonna be bad and I gotta go unload the dishwasher.
Go.
So,
yeah, that's me too. But I want to say I appreciate y'all for taking the time to have me on here and shit. It was
Yep.
awesome.
Hey.
I'm glad we finally got to sit down and shoot the shit.
It was a good episode, my boy. Once they get you on
If
some
you
other
want to
time.
listen to something that kind of sounds like Cyclone, I recommend Street Policy.
I don't know if you have Instagram or anything
You're
like
in
that.
the Discord, Anna.
Yeah.
Do you have that old gram of Insta stuff?
Yeah.
Just look me up. It's the same Corn-Fed Wiles, and shoot me that Cyclone band. I'd love to check them out for sure.
Yeah, I'll send you their Instagram. I'll send you a couple of the videos that I have of them, and then I'll send you Street Policy stuff.
Word, sick. Well, I appreciate y'all so much for having me on, and love what y'all are doing, though. Seriously, I think it's sick. And
Hey, we appreciate
Tyler, I'm
it.
looking forward to finally getting a chance to meet you.
It'll
so.
hopefully be sooner than later, my dude.
That's what I'm saying. We ain't too far
That'd be cool.
away
Yes,
from
sir.
each other, so
Well,
hopefully
Tyler,
so. Y'all
I'm still
be
looking
safe,
forward
though.
to meet you.
No, you're not. I won't bully you. Oh, boys, this is going to be the end of Cigs and Black Coffee episode. I don't fucking know what number we're on. But we had Mr. Zach Wiles. Ashton's out of here. Animus still here, though. But, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Later, dudes. Have a great night.
Times.
I'll see you on
See
the
y'all.
Yeah.